you so much for stopping in this evening and joining me. And bear with me just a moment here while I get some stuff set up. There we go. Okay. Got that situated. Hopefully that'll take care of some of the issues that we've been having lately. And let me see. No, that wasn't what I was trying to do. No. Okay. We're going to see how that goes. I definitely want to thank any who are able to join me today. We do have some upload again, Premiere right now. Part 6 of the Book of Enoch is being uploaded. It's in Premiere as we speak. So definitely, if you get an opportunity to, go by and check that out. I was able to go on live stream on Anunnaki Oracle Priestess today. So once that actually uploads to the channel, hopefully we'll be able to get an opportunity to have that going on as well. Last night's live stream will not be able to be made public. Y'all, I'm gonna need your help. I don't know what's going on with that. Last night we had some very nasty people in the live stream, and I was trying to just ignore them like they say we have to instead of removing them. We have been removing offensive people, but that got the channel shadow banned. And then I decided to just ignore them. But we had some that were very hateful and brought racial slurs into the comments. So we reported them for hate speech. And instead, I wound up with a copyright strike on that video, even though I wasn't playing anything with any kind of music. The only thing I read from was a couple of things I looked up online and Google. So I have no idea why that happened. So, hey, Niana, how are you doing, my love? I finally figured out how to get it on subscribers only mode. It's ridiculous the amount of time and the number of videos I watched trying to figure out how to do that. The time I spent in studio when I could do it right here from my phone. It wasn't working in studio the way the video said they were supposed to. And then I finally figured out how to do it, or found a video that showed me how to do it here. So now they have to be on for at least 5 minutes before, hopefully that'll stop some of the real trolls. I hope. And honestly, I don't know what's going on with that copyright thing. I even went into studio to try to respond to that to see where the copyright violation may have come from. It's not showing up there, but the video just shows a copyright thing on it. So I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it, but it's 3 hours of audio. So I don't know if I'm even gonna bother with that. I may just keep that one private because we wasn't talking about nothing significant anyway. And just be more careful. I did lower the volume of the background music, but there was no vocals in that background music, not one word. Even the commercials and stuff. If I don't even think the track that I selected even went to commercial during the live stream. But even if they do, I keep my remote right here so I can mute it real quick, and that's the end of it. So I have no idea why it's copyrighted, but like I said, we did report a couple folks for hate speech, and I guess YouTube didn't like that. I did mention the fact that I'm aware that I've been shadow banned. Maybe YouTube didn't like that. Who knows? Hey, Paul Snowcloud, how are you, dear? Welcome. Appreciate you coming in. It was, girl, it's been a little rough, though, because I can't even remember who that was, but it was somebody that's basically on that. Actually, it wasn't a Christian fanatic. It was an anti-Trump fanatic that went in on me. So from now on, I'm not even gonna comment on that. Because I really don't like getting involved in the politics of the planet anyway. They all suck. None of my candidates are on any of these ballots. So I'm just gonna leave them. You're having amazing things happening. Oh, yay, yay, yay! Yeah, I let somebody rope me into it because they said something real hateful. And again, I don't dislike the man. I don't agree with everything he's for or about, but because I didn't say that I hated him, he was trying to get me to go there. And because I did, he left a long, 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 long behind comment on one of my streams. I just removed it, but yeah, that's all of that kind of stuff is just energy we don't need here. So I'm gonna just let it go. And I'm not commenting on politics. Obviously, if they make really disgusting racial slurs or really overt sexual comments, just delete the comments. You ain't even got to remove them unless they just continue to do it and get worse and worse. Don't even report them or nothing. We're just gonna keep it moving. But I'll reach a point where I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna ignore them. And from that point on, I will ignore them. And if they continue later on, I may go in and just make them completely invisible to the channel forever. Or until I get ready to move them again. Hey little Ed, welcome, welcome. I understand. Yep, and you're absolutely right, Paul Snowcloud. But it is so. Last night it was ridiculous how many people came in and the hateful stuff that they were saying. You know what I'm saying? It's been a long time since somebody would. Fact of the matter, I ain't really had nobody ever in real life hit me with the N word hard R in my face. Most people are too cowardly to do that. But they get bold here on YouTube and sling that word around like that because they know YouTube ain't gonna do nothing to them. And in and of itself, I'm secure enough in who I am that I can't say that it devastates me because it take real ignorance to stoop that low. But I know it's offensive to everybody in the live stream, so it's hard to just not, just to let it go. I go in other people's live streams, all kinds of genres. I'm not talking about just spiritual stuff here. I sometimes just, especially when I want to start understanding the YouTube environment, I go into all different kinds of live streams, and every time I do it, I am flabbergasted at the level of ignorance of people that I see in those live streams, even the ones where I get it, where people are overtly being kind of outrageous for effect. That's still their hustle. How much of a hater do you have to be to come in somebody's house and knock their hustle? But there are people that do that on the street too. They'll see street performers or buskers out there and they'll go up and deliberately interrupt their performance. That's just a miserable individual. It really is. We ain't got time. We don't. We on a whole different type of time here. Y'all, I got a hypothetical. Brittany had me thinking today, and now trust me, this is completely hypothetical. But there are 6 people in this room right now. If Oh, hey Patricia, 7, yay. You're getting this with those that are ascending as fast as others. Honestly, I really do understand that. I mean, not to talk about other people. And again, I'm not trying to knock nobody's hustle, but there are some live streamers that invite controversy and that kind of talk by the way they behave just by nature of their content. But like you said, well, what we're doing, it really is a matter of our light irritating their demons because we don't be in here doing nothing. We just chilling. Just chilling. Hey, Miss Brittany, welcome, my love. Cool. I was gonna ask a question, but I might wait till we get a few more folks in here. But then again, we got most of the core crew in here, most of them. You bothered the demon today to tell him everybody is. Yeah, hopefully by making it subscriber only mode and they have to be subscribed for at least 5 minutes, that'll at least give them a few minutes to cool their jets and see that we really are um, love and light here. Maybe they'll just either go on about their business or, yeah. Oh, you told Trump that you're all created equal. There you go. I mean, and we are. Everybody is created equal. So again, like I said, I shouldn't have allowed that man to bait me on political issues anyway, because I've been ignoring those. It's not that I don't care what's going on in the Ukraine or in Gaza or any of those places around the world. I'm well aware that I can do more energetically for them in the astral than I ever can arguing with somebody online or even in person or even jumping on a plane and going over there. I'm one person. I can't affect. Um, I don't know, Brittany, because like I was saying, it amazed me the live stream last night. A couple people reported him for that really nasty racial thing that he said, and I didn't get no emails in my inbox about it. I'll look. I'm gonna continue. I'll look tomorrow to see if anything came in. I went to YouTube Studio. I didn't have any information about it, but what I did have was a copyright strike on that video, even though I wasn't playing any kind of music with vocals or anything. And I go on people's live streams, just playing all kinds of music, people singing, bumping music loud as they want to. I had no vocals at any point in time on that video, but yet there's a copyright strike on that live stream. So I just, you say you waiting for secret for the FBI to come find you. Hey, they been up in my live stream once, and I thought about it. Was it last night or the night before that dude said he was YouTube police or something? And again, what am I gonna get mad for? We wasn't talking about nothing that wasn't allowed. We weren't saying anything disrespectful. We weren't talking bad about anybody. We just sit here chilling. So I don't honestly don't know what they want. All we can do is do us and just kind of keep it moving. I'm going to ask the question because I don't even know. Like I said, the way we've been rocking and rolling with the way like I said, I understand that my numbers are going to be very limited for a while until I get that out. Like I said, it's a process. Once that happens, it's probably at least a 30-day process as you work your way out of YouTube jail, so to speak. So, yeah. Hey, Weston, how are you, darling? Welcome, welcome. Amen, you little Ed. Let me stop with the amen, but yeah. Oh, Paul, no, I'm not joking. When I say the FBI has been in my chat, in my live stream, I thought it was a troll that was joking too until I went the following day and saw that it was really the FBI with over 200 and something thousand members and all about 4 or 5 different government links in their about page and all the rest of that. It was, yeah, I should have said Ashe, little Ed. It was just prior programming kicking in. Um, I didn't either, Patricia. I haven't gotten an official notice of being in YouTube jail, but when I used to come on live streams, I had gotten to the point that every time I went live, I was getting anywhere between 10,000 and 25,000 views and was picking up anywhere between 80 and 200 new subscribers. And look at where we're at now. By the time, if I hit 3,000 views on this live stream, I could stay on here for 4 hours and I still will barely get 3,000 views. That tells me that YouTube has removed me from the algorithm. That's going to take some while for me to get back. Yeah. And honestly, well, again, Paul, I didn't say anything that was worthy of them even visiting the channel. Well, I know why they visited the channel because I made a comment about something that I noticed in the Lost Book of Enki and how it played out in real time on the earth. But the terminology, and I used the terminology that they used in the news repeatedly for months and years. But when I said it on this channel, it made that correlation. Yeah. But again, I'm not getting any kind of unique. Hey, hi, my love. I'm not getting any kind of communication from YouTube. I done checked all of my email inboxes. I've been on YouTube Studio. I done looked at the notifications. I'm not getting anything from YouTube, so I don't know what they're doing. And again, if they, now that's the part that irritates me because I've heard other people say that too, that when people complain about you, whether it's justified or whether it isn't, YouTube will just automatically act on a complaint without even verifying the complaint. And I think that that's horrible because they didn't act on the racial hatred. They got the people to come. So literally somebody, that person that y'all reported last night, if they turned around and reported me, they could get away with it scot-free and I wind up in trouble. So yeah, don't worry about reporting them no more. Just let them be. We'll just ignore them. We're going to ignore the hell out of them, okay? Please don't report no more of them. Because last night it was 2 or 3 people that got reported for hate speech. Please don't do that. I know y'all are trying to help, but it obviously is not helping because yeah, I basically been stomped into oblivion just about, and it's fine because the ones that are here and want the content will get it, and eventually we'll work our way back up to it. But I didn't know that they give you the ability to remove offensive people, but if you exercise your ability to remove offensive people, then they turn around and ban your content. It's crazy. Oh wow, that's crazy, Brittany. It ain't no coincidence, child. I know for a fact years ago when I was in my family home, and that was, like I said, it was a long time ago, but it wasn't back to the days of party lines. They were still supposed to be private lines. But I know for a fact our phones had been tapped long, like decades before they even talked about Homeland Security or anything like that doing it or having the right to do it. Our phones were tapped. But I honestly believe my brother was kind of involved in some of that behind the scenes folks. Neurolink, girl, no. If you crazy, no, don't do it. Don't you do it. Or you can email, do that, and yeah, you can do it on. I'm gonna have to start getting on Instagram too. I may even figure out TikTok. I just be so lazy. I don't have time. I don't even like all that. A whole bunch of networks, but I'm gonna have to do that. Just remove. I think you can delete their comments without timing them out, and hopefully they'll take the bait. If they just continue to spam and spam and spam, time them out for a few minutes. You don't have to give them. Um, okay, yeah, Brittany, I'll try to remember to check in on Instagram. Do that. Send them to me there. Hey, Chris Goes, how are you? Um, but yeah, at first, just delete their comment if they say something super offensive. If when I get off of here, I'll accept it, Brittany. I don't even have Instagram on my tablet, so I don't. I test show you how often I don't be in Instagram. Um, but yeah, I'm trying to think about that. I think if we just delete the offensive comment and give them a verbal warning and let them know if it continues, they'll be timed out, and then just ignore them. And even if they just continue to, unless they're spamming so bad we can't read our own comments, I'll just ignore them. I'm gonna do my very best to just ignore. Hopefully, with this subscriber only mode, with the 5 minute pause before they can comment, hopefully that'll cut down on a bit of that spam. Because honestly, my channel is boring as hell for somebody to sit around and wait a whole 5 minutes just to say something ignorant. That would be just doing the most. How you been, Crisco's Country Life? You mean is Neuralink part of the beast? The funny part is, let me see if I can put it this way. Well, Lil Ed, I mean, is boring as far as those people that want to create drama and mayhem. If they stand around here, all they gonna do is get some spiritual food to chew on. It's really not the kind of content that you would think. Like I said, I haven't seen all the pimple popping, rump shaking, weirdo clown wigs, goofy whatever stuff. I've been down the YouTube live rabbit hole, so I don't know why they even want to stop here for real. Um, you said it was Alton up from Sam Alton. That okay, here's the thing. Christians talk about the mark of the beast, and they're so afraid of receiving the mark of the beast, but truthfully, Christians are the main ones that are the damn beast, and they don't even know that. So, from a Christian standpoint, I don't think it's a major issue. What scares the poop poop out of me with Neurolink is understanding that very likely those technologies, AI, Neurolink, and all that kind of stuff that I can see where they're marching humanity towards, it's a further dehumanization of humanity. And I strongly suspect, I have no way of proving this, so y'all don't come for me. But from everything that I've heard and looked into and heard in the past, it is very likely that the folks that are behind AI and Neuralink they are in cooperation with some extraplanetary beings that do not have humanity's best interest at heart. They genuinely are a group of beings whose physical avatars do not fare well in Earth's environment. And they've been doing the mental telepathy thing, but they want a more hands-on avatar, just like the movie Avatar showed you. They want to set humans up to be actual avatars for them. So those people that always want to go and grab the latest and greatest technology are literally going to be potentially turning themselves into robot slaves for unfriendly off-planet entities. Possession will be complete. They've been cloning people. Why not? You know? So honestly, Neuralink will be the last thing I accept. Last thing. Well, it ain't even that they want to pin it on one person. That's the thing that I'm talking about. Religion wants to blame them over there, and then of course the government want to blame that one over here. It's all smoke and mirrors, and everybody's sending all these different signals pointing. But the bottom line is they're all kind of in cahoots together. And in my humble opinion, it's not anything that a true chosen one that's on the path of awakening and ascension should bother to tie themselves up with. Why would you want to allow an AI interface to be hardwired into your body at your brain stem? The AI done told you they scared of who created them. The computer programs say it's scared of its own creator. Why would you want to put that in your body? Hey, warrior above, within, without, you made it in pretty early today. Awesome, awesome. Good to see you. And honestly, Paul Snowcloud, here's the thing. I'm probably gonna get in trouble again, me and my big mouth. But I noticed in 2020 when the world was losing their mind about the pandemic, and I meant to put an L in there because I know what it is. The one thing I noticed early on because I was watching was it I can't think of the name of the website now, but the CDC was one of them, and then something.info. But I was watching it every day at one point until I saw what I needed to see and realized what time it was, and then I stopped watching it so much. But when I was looking at the way it was spreading across the country, it looked just like an old cell phone tower map. I noticed that early on in the spread of that. So, not saying it was a necessary, I honestly don't believe it was intentional what happened whenever it got out of control, but there was definitely a link between some sort of cell or Wi-Fi exposure and the level of severity of the cases and the spread of the cases. It did not take a rocket scientist to see that. All you had to do was look at the pattern, and it literally looked like I don't want to call any particular company, but you know the ones when we used to walk in the store and they show you how they got the best coverage in the US and blah, blah, blah. Can you hear me now? It looked just like that. Yeah. Rianne Turner, I have no issue with Judgment Day because I'm well aware that it's not what people think it is. And truthfully, saying things like that is judgmental in and of itself. And the scriptures say, judge not lest ye be judged. So I would say the same thing to you, dear one. Good luck on Judgment Day because that haughty, arrogant attitude ain't going to go as well for you as you think it is. There's a whole lot of self satisfied, good Christian folk that sit and reign on high, looking down on folk, calling down judgment on folk. And Yeshua told them, did not say to you, and he said, in that day, you will come to me and say, Lord, Lord, didn't we prophesy in your name and perform many powerful works in your name and expel demons in your name? And yet I will say to you, get behind me. I never knew you. Get behind me, you workers of lawlessness. There's a whole lot of Christians going to be surprised as hell because they refuse to listen. They refuse to see the truth that's right there in front of them in plain sight. They refuse to hear the real new light that's been being shed on this planet for the last 150 years because they want to continue to hold on to the lie. But it's okay. Oh, I don't doubt it. Brittany, again, this is where, even whether we Christian or not, there are some powerful takeaways from the scriptures. Revelation tells us that in the final showdown, a third of the population of the earth is going to be decimated by Michael and Yeshua, the Son of Man, gonna come through and clean house. It says it in Revelation. It said we're going through it in the book of Enoch right now, where they're talking about it, and whether they want to look at it as symbolic or whatever, it's going to be a whole lot of surprised as heck folks that thought they were sitting on the good foot and doing all whatever. And because they chose the wrong team, they've been doing good and on the good foot on what they thought was the A team, but the A team isn't the A team. And they don't understand that. But it's all good. We ain't got to be upset. Child, they ain't even got to sell it. Like you say, they've been lining up to the temples and the temples and the masjids, the mosques and the synagogues and the sanctuaries and all of them things, bowing to the dragon for 2,500 years. Because again, Satan's greatest tool is convincing people he don't exist. It's his anonymity. The whole world is lying in the power of the wicked one, but they have no idea. They bow to him by a different name, but whether you call him Baal or Beelzebub or Enlil or Jehovah or Yahweh or Allah or any of them other names, he don't care. It's still worship to him. He'll take every bit of it. You said when you scrolling a picture of Jesus will say, stop scrolling, I don't like you. Oh, wow. Well, the picture that they showed as Jesus, you probably don't resonate very well with that because it's not Yeshua. That is a depiction of Caesar Borgia. And he had a whole lot of issues. Go look up Caesar Borgia and find out who he really, really was. He was not a good dude. He is no representation of Yeshua. Nobody that should be walking around pretending. Or AI said it. Well, honestly, it kind of sort of was because and it wasn't even the C shot itself. It was the beginning of them seeing how quickly, how easily, and how thoroughly they could herd the sheeple. They infected a planetary martial law without ever enlisting the first troops. Can you imagine? They instilled so much fear in the sheeple that they genuinely enacted martial law planet wide without mobilizing the first soldier. It's crazy. And that was the beginning. And truthfully, it was more than just that, because between 2019 and 2020, we also had a massive timeline shift. I don't know if anybody was paying attention or not, but I damn sure I felt it. I saw it. The things that we started talking about, they started talking about paradigm shifts and all of that stuff on mainstream television. I'm like, what? It, yeah. Look, while everybody else was running around afraid about the C word, I was noticing what was happening with the rest of the world, above and beyond that. And yeah, a lot of stuff happened on there. Hey, Shorty Kai, what's up, mama? Welcome, welcome. Hey, Steven, I didn't even see you. Let me get caught up on these notes. Hold on. You said you never thought the God of the Bible was the devil until you thought about it. I didn't either until, well, when I pulled away, I knew that whatever was going on in there, the love that I knew that Yeshua said that the God that his father was supposed to be, I knew I never felt that coming off of Yahweh. I've taught fear of Jehovah and bowing and scraping and unworthiness from Jehovah, but I never felt that he is love. So I set out on a mission to try to understand the nature of the God that I serve. And then when I did that, I went down that spiritual rabbit hole and was able to kind of follow the etymology of Jehovah, if you were, back through the pantheons and all the different renames and remixes throughout history, and found out, oh, wait a minute, this cat ain't, no, 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 no. Because if they tell you, they tell us about all the mythologies on the planet. Well, guess what? If y'all sat here and told us that the mythology ain't real, well, what about when Jehovah show up as Bacchus and Dionysus and Odin and Zeus and all of them? So if you're telling me that those ain't real, then Jehovah ain't real either. Why would I magically suddenly want to follow him as Jehovah when the church done told me don't pay no attention to him when he was Zeus and Odin? Think about that part. But if you have to follow him as Zeus or Odin, then what about the rest of the pantheon? Because if he is real and translates back through all of those pantheons, then so do his other relatives who came here, and they're telling a very different story than he's telling. They're willing to tell the truth about who they are and how they got here. He the only one that's clinging to that almighty alpha omega sky daddy lie. He's the only one. The rest of them are like, yeah, we came here, we did some stuff we weren't supposed to, and sorry, but it is what it is. Things got out of hand, but we still love you though. You are our grandchildren, and yeah, we ain't almighty sky daddy, but yeah. Mm-mm. Hey, Stephen, we ain't really got a topic right now. We just freestyling. That's kind of sort of what we do. Patricia, if you was talking about looking up, you saying you're gonna look up the etymology of Yahweh? There's a long behind video, and if I can think of it, I will put a link to it when this live stream does finally upload. I will link it to this. I believe it's with I can't think of the name of them. Oh, the group is, I can't think of the name of the channel now, but I'll find it. It's about a 2.5 hour documentary where they were kind of going through the different histories, and that was when I saw that time skip, and where in some parts of the different pantheons where it looks like Yahweh kind of did a wolf in sheep's clothing number and kind of absorbed some of Enki's characteristics. And maybe that was a time period where he had been first exiled. I'm not sure. In fact, I need to go back and watch it again, but it was so long till I just didn't want to. But I'm gonna find it and I'll link it, so anybody that's interested in finding, kind of tracing the history of Yahweh. And again, it's a channel that I can't sit here and tell you I agree with everything they say, but they put a lot of research into that documentary. So I'll take at least 90% of it. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Awesome, Brittany. Yeah, I know full well. Like I said, I stopped watching mainstream television, Patricia, about and actually no, about in 1999. Oh, Red Robin, you're so intelligent. Yeah, whatever. I'm ignoring you. I heard you. I see you, and all the rest of that. In whatever. How would you like it if somebody that you didn't know from Adam walked up to you in the street and just attacked your physical appearance just out of the blue? You would think they were mean, hateful, and nasty. And I know you got to be ugly as the bottom of a shoe because truthfully, really attractive people don't do that to other people. I've never seen a truly attractive person just jump on somebody that they don't know from a can of paint and start calling them hateful names and Magilla and all that. Really? Really? And you probably look like Mojo Jojo. And now I'm finna ignore you because I'm not gonna allow you to take my energy. That's as far into your ignorance as I'm willing to go. Oh yeah, environment. It does take dedication and time, Stephen. And not only that, especially because we have the worship gene and those it was well and truly activated in who were heavily indoctrinated in certain things, it takes time to work through those fears and judgments and the programming and the indoctrination. Then you go through periods of self-doubt, and then you go through periods of who the other indoctrinated people around you going to try to talk you off the ledge, and you don't want to be wrong, and what if I don't get it right? It's a process. That's one of the reasons I keep showing up and will keep doing what I'm doing because it wasn't an overnight process for me either. So I keep going. Hey, Unique. Welcome, welcome, my love. Honestly, I mean, Inky is Zeus's brother, but Inky is Poseidon. Inky, and I, again, maybe because in all of the pantheons that I've ever seen, obviously we don't know what any of them look like. But when you look at Lord Shiva and Poseidon or Laocoon, all the rest of them, Inky is beautiful. I can understand how he got an opportunity to be a 304 because he probably showed up and then women was like, oh yeah, sign me up. You know what I'm saying? But I've also learned not to judge because their ways are not our ways. They could get away with breeding like that, and their morality was different. It's just like in nature, some species breed very, very closely. Some species will breed son to mother in the wild. I'm not saying humans are supposed to do that. Don't quote me on no foolishness like that. But I'm just saying when you consider they're a completely different planetary race of people, their ways are different. The only reason we judge that is because they taught us to judge against it, because the way our genetics are set up, if we do that, we create a lot of genetic issues for ourselves. So they indoctrinated us with a moral blueprint to make it seem morally repugnant to us so that we can avoid some of the biological repercussions of doing it. Let's just say it that way. Exactly, environment. The Bible is the absolute newest kid on the block, and yeah, that part. Hey, Osas, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Um, Let me see. Paul Snowcloud, what do you? I got to go back to what you were saying. Some stuff. I got to scroll back up. Oh, you was talking to Brittany. Okay, okay, okay. Hey, bro, 100. How you doing, darling? Welcome, welcome. Okay. And I definitely will look it up, Red Rob. And I apologize then. And again, if I'm overly sensitive, I apologize because I literally had people calling me some real hateful names that looked like it went back to some of that, and I thought you were on that type of time. So I genuinely apologize, and I absolutely will look it up. Oh, and I also looked up, somebody here mentioned looking up Baruch Spinoza. I did, as well as the Oashfe Bible. I did look that up yesterday, and I downloaded myself a massive playlist. I have not stopped to really organize it yet because the one where I found the Oashfe, I don't know if that's the correct way of saying it, but where I found that Bible, it was a channel that had a lot of major ancient works, and of course I didn't add them all to the playlist, but there were several titles in there for things that I wanted to look at. The Tao Te Ching was in there, and some of Catherine Ponder stuff, some Florence Scovel Shinn, of course, but there was a lot of really good stuff in there. So I created that playlist. I got Baruch Spinoza stuff, and I forgot, it was something else in there too that I went ahead. Uh-oh. And again, Red Rob 22, my apologies to you, brother. Honestly, Patricia, when you go without television, it allows the programming to ease somewhat. And when you go back to watching mainstream television, it makes it so much easier to see the programming. Every now and then, I wind up going to a friend or a relative's house or something and kind of be a captive audience and see. The last time I went to visit my daughter and her girl, I forgot, they were watching some kind of sitcoms, and it wasn't nothing that was really bad, but just even seeing what television looks like now, what mainstream TV, the way the film angles, or the cameras that they use, it looks completely different. But for me, when I started seeing them pushing things like the paranormal agenda, and they started doing the gender confusion agenda, the homosexuality agenda, and the I can remember when I unplugged my children from it too. Now, obviously, they kind of filtered their way back as they got older, but for years when they were younger and minor children, we did like videos. We would go get movies, go to the movies, go to the bargain bin at Walmart. Okay, I had satellite for a while, so they could do like Nickelodeon and children's stuff. But even at that, I understood there's a lot of programming. We did some Cartoon Network and stuff, but a lot of it we steered clear of. Um, but the main thing that made me stop was when they started reality television. And I'm gonna tell you the show. It was Fear Factor that made me shut down TV. They had an episode of Fear Factor, and the final straw for me. I used to be horrified almost every week at the crap that they put on there, but the one that got it for me was an episode. The first part of the show, they had to carry dead rats in their mouth. They had a relay race, how many dead rats they could race across the room and carry in their mouth to the finish line. And then for the challenge after that, they literally had to milk a goat with their mouth and spit the milk into a container. And whoever managed to extricate the most milk out of this goat won the challenge. I'm like, do these people not understand this bestiality? Like, what is wrong with them? Yeah, me and mine wasn't gonna watch no more of that. No, no, not at all. Oh yeah, Brittany last night, it was horrifying, but it's all, yeah. I'm glad you missed it too, because that's, and because I didn't know how to turn on the subscriber only mode, and yeah, we got it now. I know how to do it now. So, but once I was away from mainstream television and then plugged back into it, especially when I started getting more active on YouTube, and again, I see stuff in the short reels because every now and then they'll really start focusing on something, and I can remember, I think it was around 2018, 2019 or so, they started focusing on the Kardashians for a minute. And I was sitting there watching it. And I'm like, that is straight up narcissistic program. Nice, nasty, mean girl narcissism. And while it might look cute on the billionaire end, translated into the real world, when the po folks watch them and idolize them and translate that mess into the real world, I've lived with them po versions of the nice, nasty, mean girls, and it ain't cute and it don't feel good. No, no. And truthfully, oh, sis, we don't need to judge anyone for real. I mean, honestly, that's just some hype they put in the scriptures, but we really don't need to judge because, number one, even the things that are uncomfortable, like Gandhi said, I bless those who brought me pain, for they are my teachers. The ones we have really, really harsh opinions or experiences with are very often karmic teachers or facilitators for us to learn something. And if we have close relationships with them, very often they're reflecting something in us that we don't like. That's one of the reasons they irritate us so bad, because it's something that needs healing in us. Not saying we're doing the exact same thing, but it's something on an energy bandwidth that we're there interacting with. Now, obviously, there are exceptions to every rule, and there are some things on this planet that ain't never gonna feel good, ain't supposed to feel good. They are extremes of negativity that we really, especially those of us who are reaching towards the light, hope will just dissipate at some point. And there is a scriptural promise that that stuff is on its way out, but we just have to let that rock along and do its thing. And truthfully, we do judge though as humans for real. You can't look at something and not either like it or dislike it. That's a judgment. So that's why I say you kind of sort of have to take some of that as a grain of salt. We're wired to have an opinion, and an opinion is, in a way, a judgment. You say you still watch WWE, that little fake stuff. It's amazing. I mean, and I do appreciate that there's some art and acrobatics and all sportsmanship to it and all, but it has amazed me ever since I was a child at the people that actually watch wrestling and like it. Even as a kid, I have never really been able to get into that or boxing either. The idea of two grown men and now even grown women, and I ain't gonna lie, I watched a few of Layla Ali's fights and she was beautiful and I seen her, whatever. I thought that was cool once upon a time when I was kind of rocked up before. I mean, I've always been big, but I was more muscular at one point than fat. And when I was in there in the gym, doing that close to Olympic level lifting and all that good stuff, I had fancied myself at wanting to be a boxer one time until I really sat and thought about the idea of signing up for somebody to punch me in the face. Hell to the no, I'm good. I'm way too cute for that. Nope, nope, nope. Good. Oh, Rampage Jackson's son is going to jail. Ooh. I saw something about that on YouTube the other day, a couple days ago, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but he did beat somebody up or something. Yeah, but I mean, and Paul, it is free will, but for me, and again, I'm not judging anybody that continues to watch television. I'm not telling nobody they can't watch it. I'm saying what I was led to do even before I understood that I was on a spiritual journey. It just kind of was a natural occurrence for me. And I'm grateful for it because once I pulled away from the programming and went back into it, I was able to see in sharp contrast. It genuinely helped me be able to escape from the matrix. I was brought into some serious karmic patterns with some very, very toxic people, hardcore religiosity, hardcore judgment, um, big time narcissist empath paradigm, that kind of stuff. I had a lot of different uh, karmic cycles to close, as it were, that I'm not even sure I would have been able to. I mean, it's my quote unquote awakening and ascension has been like a 15, 16-year process. Had I not unplugged from mainstream television, I'm not sure I ever would have been able to get there. So for me, I'm grateful that I did. I'm trying to remember the story. I saw it in passing, and I think I went and watched a little short video about it. But who was it that he beat? He hit somebody and put the dude in the hospital or something. But yeah. Oh yeah, controlling the ego to judge, and that's my thing. I mean, some of the things that I see, and I'll tell people because there is some stuff on this planet I absolutely judge. I judge it hardcore and proudly because it's some nasty, foul junk that's just disgusting, and I ain't never gonna be able to co-sign it. So yes, I will judge on that account. However, there is also a part of me on the flip side of it that understands that, like you say, from that larger perspective, when I get out of my human feelings and ego and kind of look at it from a larger overview perspective, I understand, excuse me, that the creator of all doesn't interfere because, in the larger scheme of things, there really isn't good and bad as such because it's all karmic lessons. We are here on Earth School to learn and grow and ascend. And until we learn to wade through the darkness, we will never find our way to the light. So, as ugly and as uncomfortable as it is, and sometimes it does shed blood and all the rest of that, until our consciousness expands, we have to go through it. The only way around is through. Oh, yeah, Neana, they came out in force last night. Yeah. And we ain't supposed to, but honestly, that's why I say it's to, in my opinion, and again, I'm not patting myself on the back, but it does take a point of consciousness expansion to be able to see those things in the world. And of course, you don't endorse them, you don't like them, you wish they go away, but you're also not so up in arms that you jump up in the middle of it and all of that. You kind of sort of learn how to stay in your lane and understand that the parties that are embroiled in that stuff kind of sort of have to go through it. As much as you wish you could go in and rescue them, it's some stuff you really just cannot rescue people from. They have to ascend out of it, and in some cases they have to transition off of this earth, come back and do it again because they didn't learn the lesson. And ultimately, that's where the non-judgment comes in. You have to be able to say, and that's okay too. But once you take away the heaven and hell and all of the rest of that stuff, it becomes easier to see it from that from that point. If they don't awaken and ascend, they will transcend and transition and recycle until they can awaken and ascend. And that helps ease the pain of some of that stuff that we see a little bit. Oh, Patricia, it absolutely can be an addiction for sure. And honestly, I wish to goodness I could find it, but I also know. So you went off grid. Oh wow, 18. Yeah, in the Australian. You agree with what I'm saying? Yeah, you went off grid in the Australian desert. Well, except for the Australian desert part, that sounds amazing. Look, y'all got way too much wildlife there. I said I wanted to go to Australia until I saw all the stuff. That, look, I can't do it. In that regard, I ain't a true city girl, but I don't want to be in the country where I could get get my knees swept out from under me and simultaneously punched in the mouth standing at the airport by wildlife and them spiders. Look, we ain't even got to the spiders yet. I was heading there. I was heading there. I haven't seen them in a minute, but they probably haven't subscribed or unsubscribed from the channel. And that's one of the reasons I did that, bro. 100. I felt like if somebody is willing to stick around for 5 minutes in order to be able to comment and troll us, then maybe in that 5 minutes, maybe their spirit will calm enough to just take it down a notch. So far, we're doing pretty good. So I don't know. I might try to lower it to a minute at some point, but honestly, the room is gonna stay smaller anyway, just because of the other stuff that we inadvertently did that got the channel kind of down for a little while. We got big spiders down here, but I ain't look. I've been in the South for a long time, Paul Snowchild. I ain't never seen no spider the size of a dinner plate. They got them in Australia. They got kangaroos that are 6 feet tall that can, like I said, punch you in the face and simultaneously sweep your legs out from under you. I'm good. They got venomous snakes, poisonous spiders, kangaroo. Nope, 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 nope. I'm good. You're ascending quicker than you thought we would. Yeah. Honestly, it's quicker, but in a way, it's kind of not. What my thing was, people need to understand the reason the Mayan calendar didn't go past 2012 is because we never made it this far before. When we woke up and saw 2013, that was a sign, and people didn't know and understand that. And now here we are in 2025. That's a beautiful sign. So as rough and raggedy as this ride looks, and you got to think about it, in the movies, when they always show the spaceship, think about, oh, in the Matrix. I think it was in that last one when they were coming home to Zion. Remember what a rough ride that was? And they was bumping off the walls and the ship was shaking and stuff was getting knocked off, and they literally had to flip on their side and barely squeezed in the door before everything shut down. That's what we're in right now. So segueing from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius is a rough ride. And the powers that were know that they're going down. They've been playing around with looking glass and stuff like that for decades, trying to jack up these timelines. That's why we have so many Mandela effects and all that kind of stuff, because they've been trying to affect the timelines and cause deliberate shifts. But no matter what they did, in the end, light always wins. Always. Hey, Mark Andre, and good. I'm glad you're enjoying it, brother. I'm glad you're enjoying it. This is gonna happen, Niana. Yeah, that's the thing, and people don't understand. I mean, it feel like slow going because it is so painful, and it's pressing all of our wallets out something serious. I get it. Oh my God, is it pressing our wallets out? But at the end of the day, once we reach a certain point, I think years ago they used to talk about 100th monkey syndrome and critical mass theory. And I think once 2.5% of the population awakens, they said it'll basically travel like a ripple effect. That 100th monkey syndrome thing will literally cause the awakening to exponentially just start expanding and expanding, and it'll kind of happen more rapidly. What happened, Neon? Ooh, I don't have them kind of spider senses. I'm not particularly afraid of them, but I just don't like the idea of venomous stuff biting me. 104. Why you had to retract your message, little Ed? You ain't. You can. Don't be scared. We can say what we want to hear. We just don't do politics and race and real ugly under people clothes talking and that kind of stuff. But you can say what you like to. You good. It'll grow back. Again, I did some things not understanding. I'm not blaming anybody for the band that we're under, and it'll probably take about 30 to 45 days for us to kind of redirect that, but it's okay. That's what we're here for. I'm perfectly happy with this little group. Like I said, this is my little soul family. We good right here, and I can get this stuff done and my little uploads and stuff. It was a slingshot kind of sort of, yeah. Yep. The powers that were gonna do they do. They gonna do their big one, but spirit doing this big one too. And with all the planetary processions we've had since then, it really, for me, I noticed it started with that double grand conjunction on winter solstice of 2020. Oh, it was on like Donkey Kong after that. And again, oh yeah, look, bro, we are we. I wanted to ask y'all. Now, this is I said I was gonna ask a hypothetical question, and it's truly a hypothetical question. Don't look at me like, but because Brittany and I was laughing and talking about getting run over by some numbers, and I did notice it's up to 1.3 with a B at this point. How many of us in this chat group, if the right opportunity were put before you, would be in a position or be willing to leave whatever work that you're doing currently to head up a not-for-profit or even a for-profit, but primarily a not-for-profit organization for a salary of about $150K a year? How many would be willing to do that? And if it required international move, would you be willing to move internationally to do that? And of course, the $150K would not include your housing. You'd also have a housing allowance at that point. I have not, but I'm getting ready to write it down. Like I said, I will write it down and look it up. Well, again, I've seen so much abuse within so-called charity organizations as they stand now, Brittany. I would create a foundation that would spawn some new ones. That's just me. That's what I'd do. But I would need a team of people to run them. That's why I asked that question. I wouldn't give no money to nonprofits that currently, well, I ain't gonna say none that currently exist. There's some out there that I believe in that are doing some things, but I would really very much like to start some that I know gonna be run clean. Yeah, exactly, Niana. We can keep it ethical. We can keep government hands out the pot. You can run crowdfunding campaigns so that whatever amount of money you get your hands on, it can continue to grow exponentially. Exactly. Put them on salaries and teams and stuff, and whatever it is that sets that, because I ain't set like, it ain't about my desires or whatever somebody felt like they want to do, however they wanted to collect whatever their creative passion is. Create an organization that will help them do that and help other people do that too. Yeah. And but that's what I'm saying. If you think about it, if you got a crew of 10, 15 managers or whatever, and each one of them has something they want to do. You want to do water pipes in Africa and animal shelters. Somebody else may want to do programs for the homeless in whatever, in any number of countries will probably have that. And I'm sure there's going to be some folks that want to do some giving channels where they do random acts of kindness to needy people on the streets or whatever, and attach that to crowdfunding platforms. There's going to be somebody else that wants to hook up with artisans or youth in the city that have artistic talent and need it. There's an endless supply of people that could be helped in infinite number of ways. That's what I was saying. And with, like I said, with the right kind of network, because again, they would be individual platforms, but if they all tie back into a central network of cooperative, fair-minded individuals that's going to run clean organizations and not concentrating on paying the CEOs, the directors, $4 million Christmas bonuses and stuff, a lot of work could happen. Exactly. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, Brittany. That's been a huge dream of mine for a long time, a long time. Because I understand the stuff that Spirit done put on my heart to do. If I live 15 lifetimes, I couldn't do them all by myself. And I'm not supposed to. I'm supposed to connect with the unified field and just allow ideas to pop out of it and then go hook up with the people that want to put them ideas into place. That's what I'm supposed to do. Exactly. I don't want to work full time no more at all. I'm old. Oh, I ain't old. That's a lie. But I'm long enough in the tooth that I've put in my time, workity working. I want to direct now. I want to work with this and this. I don't want to work these no harder than it take me to shuffle these cards at this table or flip the page of this Bible. That's the hardest work I plan on doing. Every now and then, I'll go in there, like I say, around the full moon and the new moon. I'll make y'all a batch of candles and throw them up on Etsy or on my little website or whatever for those that want the candles, and make some crystal bracelets or what have you. But yeah, the work that I plan to do after that would, yeah. But again, it would be a business out of my heart space, little Ed. I honestly don't want to have to be stressed out and depending on making candles to survive. I would like to just be able to put that offering out there and share my Reiki energy with people and allow them to, of course, fair exchange is fair exchange. They benefit in paying a fair price for them too, but I want to be able to do that from the heart space. I know you do, Brittany. When I'm telling you, I know we are literally, girl, we gonna have to meet up one of these days because we are absolutely twinsies for real. You want to enjoy life and show. I'm trying to tell you, and our board of directors need to meet up somewhere on a tropical island somewhere for the quarterly meeting. I'm trying to tell you, look, if Google can have a little cool environment, we can do it too. And truthfully, I think that's what the creators of New Earth are being called to do, because there's going to have to be a shift towards more compassionate capitalism anyway. That's why I said I've got some ideas. I don't want to say too much here on this in case there are other folks that aren't subscribed or like-minded or watch it later in the live stream, but I've been shown some ideas or ways to keep that sustained so that genuinely, regardless of how long we manage to live, it will continue to grow and expand, and our grandchildren's grandchildren will still be benefiting from it, as well as the people that we were able to help. Because that's why I said, and I mean, there is a difference between a nonprofit and a not for profit. And genuinely, I believe we would wind up building a network of not for profits because they gonna make a hell of a lot of money, but a goodly portion of that money will go back into branching out and continuing to help other people. I'm just glad to know y'all all down with the program too. Like I say, and I knew you would be. Again, when I first started this channel, I genuinely sat down in prayer and meditation and dedicated this channel to calling in soul family. Absolutely. Absolutely. Balance ego and greed, still get out there and be able to make money as long as there's money to be had, because it does take coinage. I ain't sitting here saying we gotta form a kibbutz out in the middle of nowhere and we gonna all wear leaves the rest of our lives. I'm not quite that much of a nature girl. I still like electricity and internet and all them good things, and we gonna live nice, but we can do it fairly and show these people that it doesn't, we don't have to just amass crazy wealth and just sit on it. I honestly, I don't know, I couldn't sleep at night if I was just sitting on billions and billions of dollars knowing that 10 miles away from me there's a child going to bed hungry. I personally couldn't do it. Now I'm not knocking the billionaires on the planet that can do that. I just know I couldn't, especially if you got billion with an S on the end of it. It take a ridiculous amount of, it's not even possible unless somebody just make the stupidest decisions ever and throw money away by the millions in the street. It's not even possible for a billionaire to go completely broke unless the economy that his money is tied to completely fails. Oh, same, Brittany. Not maybe not since a teen, because like I said, I was still indoctrinated into the religion thing. And as a teenager, I just wanted to get married and have 4 kids and all that. Well, the married thing didn't happen, but I got kicked out in the world and the 4 kids happened. So for a while, I was in this whole cognitive dissonance, head to the grindstone, just trying to keep my children safe and get them grown and on and all. But for real, like for the past 10, 15 years, my kids used to laugh at me because I had, like, I'd sit down on notebooks and on paper sometimes whatever the lottery was, I sit down and spend it right there on paper. Not spend it, but like earmark what will go where, how much I put into annuities, how much I put in short term investments, how much I would invest in the silver, coin, crypto, whatever the case may be. The organization, what I'd like to do, in which countries I'd like to set up. I would sit there and take time and literally spend a whole brick from a lottery win. Girl, that's too funny. You do it too. Because my thing was, of course, it isn't here today, but eventually, if I keep doing that, eventually it will. It'll be for real. It won't just be a practice run. You do kind of, sort of need to have some kind of idea. I mean, I've never had that level of wealth before, so I'm definitely gonna have to get a team of financial advisors and the tax people, because God knows I hate paperwork and ugh, that ain't my thing. I need some trusted folks, and fortunately, three of my four children are super trustworthy, and I know they'd be right there on the team. So, but yeah, I would have everything locked down in trusts and foundations and everything else. So as I roam about the planet, everybody know it ain't even worth your time trying to kidnap her, because she worthless now. She done gave it all away into these foundations. Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly, Paul. I get it. That's why I say, but I've given some thought to that stuff. I don't know the particular ins and outs and the cost of setting up the trust and those kind of little details, but I know what to do with it. Yeah. And I never saw that as a silly game, because people don't understand daydreaming, visioning, and things like that. That is good, energetic work. And of course, when you manifesting that level of financial abundance, is typically not an overnight thing. It may take years to bring that in. But like you say, you keep hope alive by weighing it in your mind and playing with it and envisioning it and seeing it and all the rest of that. Exactly. And again, I basically finally had to get to a point, Brittany, where I put it into percentages. Since I don't know what the win is going to be on any particular given day, I do understand that a minimum of 20% is going to go towards the base of the foundation, and how much I want to put in the trust for the family, and how much should I want to do in short-term investments versus the longer term annuity, all that good stuff. Yeah. Niana, I've done the same. When Brittany and I literally been telepathically linked at the hip, I think our whole lives. We are so much alike. Shoot, that's why the other when I did that reading for the high priestess the other day, like I said, it was my personal reading, but I went ahead and made it public because I knew good and full well it applied to more than just me. I knew it applied to Brittany, but there's several of y'all in this collective. If you ain't had a chance to check it out, it's a long reading, but I really believe you'll benefit from it, because we are a soul tribe that are awakening and ascending together, and we gonna do something so freaking incredible. I'm trying to tell you, we're gonna be a movie of the week at least before it's over with. Exactly, and truthfully, if again, Brittany, I've taken it all the way from, if the win was like starting with like $10 or $20 million. If it was something small like that, I would take like 5 or 10 and then do a um a price matching crowdfunding campaign, and start with like giving channels like that, and start doing some crowdfunding to make sure that the funds don't run out. But one of the platforms that I have in mind, I might as well, I can go on and say it, because like I said, at this point, um I envision myself doing something similar to what Richard Branson did years ago with the Virgin Startup Project, except I think he was giving away up to $25,000. Well, that was a long time ago, and money don't go as far as it do anymore. So what I wanted to do was a startup project where we find worthy candidates. Well, not worthy, everybody's worthy, but you know what I mean. Have some kind of a weeding through process where we find people that are willing to go through a 6-month program, either 4 to 6 months, somewhere like that, program. They would have lodging because it'll be like in a dorm type environment or villas, whatever, but it would be kind of an on campus type environment with a 6-month commitment from them to not only teach them business basics, but basically start out with clearing the body and the mind, help them go through a cleansing process, juice fasting, cleansing the aura, teaching them the basics of, spirituality, bringing them up to speed on a lot of the things that we talk about, teaching them to meditate, looking into different spiritual systems, not trying to proselytize anybody into a particular religion, but just giving them some spiritual and energetic tools that can help them shift their thinking into, out of the matrix into some new world type thinking. And then after they've been able to do that for a month or two, like in month 3, sit down in meditation each day and begin to envision and build their business plan, whatever it is that they want to do, whatever it is that they want to do, well within reason. It would have to be something that could be start up and run. I figured $100,000 would have to be, we got to put a limit on it somewhere, because other than that, you just get people to come in with pie in the sky dreams. What if they went from, literally living under the bridge, ain't got a pot nor a window, they really don't need no more than 100,000. They need to learn how to dream, start small enough, then they can grow it to whatever they want later on. But my thing was clear the body, clean the mind, give them a spiritual foundation, and then allow them to sit with the thought in meditation for a month or so, and then create their business plan. And of course, in the background, we have a logistics company and the freight, all of that, everything that they need as a support team. But if you did that, do it like kind of like Shark Tank, but well, it will into a degree, but you don't have to put the pressure on. You can't control what people are going to think about anyway. But they don't really have the pressure for that. First things first, they've got to clear the mind, because we're not necessarily talking about people that are coming into it with our way of thinking. This is literally, in some cases, depending on the countries we're going into, it's literally pulling people off the street, maybe, or just about off the street. So you got to start from ground zero. That's what I'm saying. It manifestation is a process. If you just plunk somebody down and try to teach them manifestation without clearing their energy and teaching them to manifest, and clearing their physical body and all that, that just makes the long way around. But one of the things that I was thinking about that would make it, and again, whoever gets to the money, I'm sharing these ideas because whoever gets to the bag first, hey, what was shown to me, and I think I can share it with this group. I saw a concept that was similar to like Shark Tanks, but instead it would be like an angel investing group with a hitch. If you teach people to pay it forward, and I'm assuming, and again, I have to talk to the lawyers and the financial advisors and all of that, but truthfully, if people agree to it, I think you can pretty much put whatever you want to in an agreement with them, because in order to make sure that it remains sustainable and continues to grow, one of the things that I would like to see happen is once they get that money and the business is up and running, they would receive support from our logistics team for a minimum of 3 years. And the first 2 years, like say 5%, we have like a 5% stake in the company, or maybe even a 10% stake in the company. And then maybe in year 3, it will go down to a 5%. But whatever the stake that is taken would be reinvested back into the foundation to basically eventually pay for the next class of people that will be coming out of that foundation. So you wouldn't just continue just giving away money by the $100,000 and housing all these people. Eventually, the businesses that are created out of them will become part of a conglomeration or consortium of businesses. But as angel investors, they wouldn't have to pay back the initial investment, but they would wind up paying it forward a little bit out of their profits on the back end. And truthfully, it wouldn't even be paying it forward once. They would be taught to pay it forward twice. The foundation will wind up sponsoring a person, and once they set up their businesses, they need to take in a mentor and teach them themselves. You said eventual ownership will be void in a golden age, though. I don't know if we're gonna live long enough because I don't honestly. I think ownership will transmute. Like you said, it will become compassionate capitalism. But we've gotten too used to having stuff in this world to go into truly communal living. So I really think we're going to still have businesses and commerce and things like that, but it will be. Oh, am I back? Okay. I was like, please don't freeze. Please don't freeze. How you doing, Miss Yates? Welcome, welcome. I'm glad, Brittany, because again, I've never really outlined everything, and it's still that's a rough sketch, but to me that covers a lot of bases. It gives them the foundation, because again, you can give, like I said, give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach him to fish, feed him for a lifetime. The problem with most startup businesses is without a proper support system, most of them will be out of business inside of 4 or 5 years, done. But if you stay with them and have a built-in logistics team, shipping operations, management, tax advisors, whatever that they can reach out to get the help that they need to help them get to the global market. Because initially I wanted to start this in a couple of African countries, and then I was looking at India, New Zealand, Jamaica, Haiti, places like that, to find craftsmen, like genuine arts and crafts people, and be able to help get their crafts into the Western market so that they can make fair money for what they do. Because a lot of those crafts are going by the wayside. Right now, I don't know, my boyfriend knows a dude in Ghana that makes traditional kente cloth on the old-fashioned type weed looms. He was taught that craft, but whatever happened before the pandemic and shortly after, he lost his loom. There's a market for what he does. He just needs the setup to be able to get it done and help to get to market. Those kind of people. But if you shape their minds first and give them a spiritual foundation first, ultimately you're teaching them to fish, especially if you give them the foundation, clear their minds, help them get their bodies right, get all of that together, then give them the money and give them the logistical support on the other end for a few years. Huge, huge. Yeah. I mean, look, if Amazon and Etsy and Temu and all them kind of places can sell cheap plastic crap that's mass made all over the planet, why couldn't a consortium of artisans and craftsmen and, you know, kind of sort of do the same thing, especially if it's a love project, especially with the right kind of social media marketing and presence behind it, and that crowdfunding component thrown in too. I don't think it could fail. I honestly don't think it could fail that way, unless, you know what I'm saying? Oh, when the thing froze up, I don't know, little Ed. They might want to block something, but eventually, they can block one live stream, they can block 5 of them. But what I've been shown, Saint Germain showed me back in 2020 that we was gonna do something really big. Because at the time, I used to sit there and I was thinking about personal empire and starting to do like import export with some, just excuse me, basically doing auction flips and stuff with my boyfriend. And there is a market and a place for that. I'm not saying we may still do some version of that. I don't know. But that takes a lot of capital to put into place. And it was basically just looking for us. But when that didn't happen and I continued to meditate over the next few years, the ideas started morphing and morphing and morphing into something else until I started seeing, wait a minute, I could set something up that could help a whole lot more people than just us. And if we do it right, this thing will continue to spread literally like the best kind of virus. It'll spread like a vine all over this planet. And it'll still be rocking hard 200 or 300 years after our heads grow cold off this earth. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Brittany. And honestly, that's why I was kind of, for a long time, I was afraid. Well, with the snakes I had around me, I didn't need to share it with them. I really didn't. Um, but I mean, I don't mind sharing it with people because whoever is able to do it is truthfully something any and everybody could do. My idea was to make it stronger by having, like I said, a consortium of people doing it together, create a foundation for that we stand united and firm together. But it's not limited to any one thing. It's like you said, if you want to go and dig wells in Africa, cool. Somebody else want to make some orphanages, awesome. Somebody else want to go over and do handmade furniture, amazing. Somebody else want, on and a build. Somebody want to build houses, cool. We got that. Bringing in solar, bring it on. You know what I'm saying? There'll be so many people with so many different ideas, and they can all live their dream and their heart's desire. When you help others do good, you gonna be okay. Period. I've never wanted to manifest anything just for myself. I always wind up, like you said, bringing the tribe in. The crazy part is I did start manifesting stuff for other people. My behind was staying broker than a joke. I'd have manifested cars and loans and vacations and all kind of stuff for people. But I was like, you know what, that's okay, because my day gonna be coming. But I still had to get some of them folks away from me. They can't sit at the table of this. So I got their little stuff and they done gone on, went on about their business. And I'm basically down to a team of one, two, if you, well, like I said, my children are still there, but on the fringes. But I was thinking, you know what? Calling in Soul Tribe is for a reason. And I believe it's to do this. Spirit ain't showed me all of this in such intricate detail for no reason. I mean, I think I'm smart, but I ain't that damn smart. Spirit spoon fed me that I did, and I know they did. So, yeah. And I love you too, warrior above, within, without. That's why I had asked the question, who would be able, I don't want to say upend your life, but truthfully it would be stepping into a new way of life. And again, my thought was, ain't nobody, well, obviously, if we received the seed money by way of a certain set of numbers, so one per technically on paper somebody will get rich overnight, but the purpose of it isn't for one person being obscenely rich. It's the idea that when we all work together, every mouth gonna get fed, and especially the core group. When I sit down to eat, everybody good. You know what I'm saying? That's always been my philosophy. I wouldn't dare ask nobody to upend their life and come work for a foundation I'm setting up and then give them some piddling little $30,000 a year where they can barely pay their bills and they got to get a second job to figure out how they gonna do this and squeeze it in on the weekend. Hell no. Pay you enough up front so your life can be good and you be completely focused on doing what you want to do. Girl, you can bring your kids wherever you want. You can maybe start something wherever you at. Again, if we're doing our own thing, we can do what we want to. We ain't answering to nobody. That's one of the things that I understood early on. With some of the ideas that I had, I probably could have gone the route of chasing grant money, but I was very adamant from the beginning. I don't want the government in our business any more than we have to. Of course, we're going to file the appropriate corporations tax documents, nonprofits, and things like that. But grant money, sometimes the accountability on it, ties your hands as to some of the projects and places you can go into and the things that you can do. And I just did not want to do that. I would rather wait for spirit to allow me to be the steward of whatever they choose to put in my hand, that I ain't got to answer to a corrupt government, and we can lock and load and do what we got to do. That was just always what I had in mind. I didn't even bother to go tracking down grants and stuff. I just been sitting here quietly with my little toes in the dirt, out there meditating and manifesting, just wondering, whenever spirit deems I'm ready, here to be, you know. Awesome. And again, and honestly, I don't know. Well, I got one girlfriend left. She's still kind of on the fence. I don't know if she's going to be a go or nay or a go. But truthfully, I got 3 adult children that if push came to shove, they will go get the degrees that are necessary to do what needs to do. They're all smart as a whip anyway. One of them is a sergeant in the Air Force right now. But when it come down to business and making sure that it was a secure, unified front, they ain't never played about their money or mine. You know what I mean? Oh, if everything, well, I say a corporation, but yeah, with trust. But I'm saying as far as like I know a nonprofit is a 501c3. I'm not sure what a not for profit is and exactly which one of those or several of those. Like that would require a team of attorneys to figure out how to structure everything. But as far as buttoning it down, I know there's ways to do it. And like Brittany said, with the proper annuities and investments and whatever else in place, we truly wouldn't really have to worry about the crowdfunding aspect for a while. However, the best way to advertise is word of mouth. So I feel like starting the crowdfunding as early as possible would be good, because truthfully, a feel good project of that magnitude, people will gladly support something like that. They support all them corrupt nonprofits that be out there making fat cats out of the boards of directors. They would love to see a boots on the ground, for real crowdfunding thing where they can truly see their dollars at work. Oh, I promise you that'll make some money. Look at how fast some of the ones here on YouTube can scrounge up money. They tell a story and get those people's, a real story. And some of them now don't even look real. I don't know. But some of them, I've seen them pull people from homelessness to getting them raising $50,000, $100,000 in a week for one person to help them reset their life. That's the kind of pull we're eventually going to have, to be able to do that sort of thing. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They will want to pitch in. So whether we started with $100 million, $2 million, 40, whatever we started with, if we have a measure of sincerity and transparency and do it honestly with clean hands and a pure heart, the public will support it. If we go hit social media, they'll support it. Look at all the foolishness they support. You know what I'm saying? I've literally sat and watched people give live streams, flipping hundreds of dollars at a pop just to write names on a piece of paper. If they could actually see us flying around the world, helping people in need, telling real human interest stories and things like that. Because I've seen those channels myself. And hey, when my money was better, I have contributed to a few of them. But yeah, exactly. Film a lot of it in a compassionate, respectful way to the people that we're helping, of course. But yeah, tell those stories, put those artisans' names out there, show their work, and then help them get it set up so that their work would find a safe, secure international channel, so that instead of working for peanuts wherever they at, they can be marketing to countries where the dollar, euro, or pound is much stronger than their currency, and make them some real money in us too. Oh, well, honestly, Paul, I understand. I don't really have the patience for it either. Every now and then they get my slip hanging too. Y'all know, you see it coming. But so far it really seems like this subscriber only mode has helped a lot, a whole lot. So we're gonna rock with that for a minute. I think that's, and it'll probably get the subscriptions up. It is said that Yeshua was a carpenter. His uncle was a shipping magnate, an international shipping magnate. Joseph of Arimathea was not broke. And Yeshua was a Reiki master. So, you know, that's why I say Christianity teach the parishioners they're supposed to be broke. That's the biggest bit of hypocrisy I've ever seen. Every one of them churches got money and plenty of it. We ain't supposed to be broke. None of God's children are supposed to be broke. It hurts my heart knowing children go to bed hungry every night. But the only real way to do something about it is to band together with some like-minded people who want to do something about it. Pisses me off every time I hear about the millions and millions of dollars in Christmas bonuses that these so-called charity organizations get. I actually talked with a dude in Africa one time because I was like, it don't make no sense to me. I've been watching the care and watching these flies swarming over this little child in Guatemala and Venezuela and over there in Africa for 20, 30 years now. If it was really that bad and people really been contributing to these organizations for 40, 50 years, why do they still have those kind of hunger problems? They shouldn't. But some of them so-called nonprofit organizations, quite literally, their directors be getting $2, $3, $4 million Christmas bonuses. So can you imagine what their annual salaries are? If you're working for a nonprofit organization, by what stretch of the imagination would you ever make more than the president of the United States? If the president make $500,000, why are you making $4 million to run a nonprofit organization and then turn around and get a $4 million price match at the end of the year? Where they do that at? I never understood that, and and I had been told, and when I had a conversation with my son, and I understood that, I'm like, our board of directors, like I said, we're gonna work hard and we paid appropriately because we'll be having to fly around the world, all that other good stuff. But there will be caps on our salaries. I would never, I know, never. It can't happen over here. There's just too many corrupt, nasty hands in the pot. And when that sort of thing started happening, that's why you walk in places like Goodwill and the Salvation Army now, and you still wind up having jeans and sneakers at $15, $20 when it's supposed to be a thrift shop for the poor. And all the stuff is donated, and they turn around and start and turn it into a retail establishment. And they got all of the thrifters that come through. People is really broke and needed, can't even get in there because they done turned it into a reseller's heaven. And the people that are donating that stuff, they're donating the clothes, but they're always being cherry picked through, and they done separated them out into boutiques and stuff so that people that can afford to go in there, they've turned it into something else, something ugly. And I was like, nah, we're going to do it the right way. Paul Snowcloud, did you say you're in Australia? Yeah, Yeshua was wealthy. So was Mary Magdalene. Architecture, absolutely, little Ed. There's plenty of places that could get plenty of poor folks in it that need fair and affordable housing everywhere, including here in the U.S. You know what I really want to get into, and I thought about it, and I know it's a wave of the future, but them little prefab houses, now that's something, if we had the money to do, you could pop them little villages up everywhere. All you got to really do is get, obviously everybody isn't going to want that. Eventually there's going to be some folks that want to be builders and build nicer homes and luxury homes. But I'm saying when you got a really bad homelessness problem in an area, if we had the money to go in, get a plot of land, do the rough plumbing, and go in and move in 30, 40, 50 prefab units that could be literally done and over and done inside of a week or a month or however long it take to put that many units in, as opposed to the people sleeping out in the streets. That part. You want to see how they live on Nibiru? Like royalty. if you're doing a teaching co-op. Honestly, no. Well, my guilty pleasure, Paul. Um, First off, please tell me where you're from again. Did you say Australia, my love? But I'm gonna tell you my guilty pleasure, where a little of my money would actually go to, because the first one of this, the first country that I saw myself starting in when I was envisioning this was between Ghana and the U.S. Now there was a couple of ways of looking at that. Oh, from South Carolina. Okay, okay. You just said you were in Australia. Somebody was in Australia for a while. Um, there are, and again, I'm sure we could find other places, and I don't even know why they were there. But when I lived in Virginia, there were two schools that were very near where I lived that had been closed for years. One of them was a beautiful campus. It had been a school for the deaf and blind, and the lights were still on. They still did the ground maintenance on it and all the rest of it. But whatever happened, the school itself closed down. And I was thinking about either leasing or purchasing that from the city and putting uh, like a community center there for the young people and all that sort of thing. And on a few miles from that, there was an older school that even had like an in-ground pool and the tennis courts and all that. And again, the grounds were being maintained and all. And I wasn't exactly sure why the school was defunct, probably because it was too small or what have you. But I did want to do something in the States as far as helping inner city children and that sort of thing, or in, like I said, programs to find and feed the homeless and all of that stuff. But my very first, um, I might as well even, because again, if somebody takes the name, I'll come up with something else. In my head, I called it Neos One, New Earth. What was it? New Earth onboard, New Earth orientation sites, and we would have them all over the place. Ew, no, I'm good. They ain't enough sage and crystals and salt in the world. Nope, I'm good, Paul. They can keep Epstein Island. No, 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 no. But yeah, I thought about calling them Neos and having them all over the world. And my first one, I wanted to be in Ghana because one thing, that's my boo thing is that. But I used to look at Ghanaian real estate, and there was this one place over there. It was quite literally, um, I think it was like a 40, I think it was a 40 bedroom hotel resort type place that they had kind of sort of done up, and it was right on the beach. And I mean, it had been a working place. It's not like it was abandoned years and years ago, but at the time that I was looking at it a couple years ago, I believe that property was about $2.5 million US. But again, it was, we'd probably have to go in and change some paint and some whatever, whatever. And I didn't even need one that big. I had actually seen a villa that I really liked. It was right on the beach. It was a series. I think the main house had like 5 or 6 bedrooms for like staff and all of that. And then it was either 8 or 12 villas like right on the beachfront, so that you could have like a classroom environment in the main house and meals and all that stuff, but then run individual classes. Because truthfully, what I saw happening for these training classes, I really would not want to be working with more than maybe 10 people at a time. So it was still, at least until we figure out the initial programs, like the first class, go through, run a couple of classes through that, and then spread to, once we figure out a curriculum and see how the program is going to go and get them established in business and kind of work with them and see, not to overload ourselves or lose anybody in the sauce, keep those classes small like that. And once that happens, then, you know, maybe do a 5 month class with a 1 month downtime so that all the staff and stuff can kind of relax, reset, take a little holiday, spend time with their kids, whatever, and then start the next class. So you'd be running like 2 classes a year. but starting 20 new businesses like that, while simultaneously, of course, any area that you're in, you're going to be doing things to help feed the homeless and maybe starting some affordable housing stuff and that kind of thing happening. But yeah. Hey, Michelle McMahon, how are you? Welcome in, welcome in. I can't believe we done sat here and talked this long about that. But again, in my opinion, working on them kind of dreams like that, that's good work. We're envisioning, we're lending energy to the right kind of stuff instead of lending energy to foolishness. And just knowing that I'm sitting in here with 16 people, at least half of which are down with it, they're actually weighing in on this conversation, then that means that they're forward focused and doing the right thing. Two of them just left. But again, and I know everybody that's in here isn't hearing this in the way that we want to hear it, but by the same turn, again, it's not proprietary information. Anybody that's got the money to do this ain't gonna be hating against it. No way. If they want to do it, cool. If they don't have to. Hey, Miss Robin, how are you, my love? Welcome, welcome. I need to message you too. I got to go through some information. I've been I told him I went AWOL for about 4 or 5 days. My energy was in a weird place and I'm just kind of backlog on stuff, but I will reach out to you real soon. Yep. But that's where my head be at a lot of times, just kind of playing in the ethers, building that kind of stuff. And again, that's eventually, yes, we're going to put it into somebody's hand. I believe you're going to put it into mine because I've seen it. I've seen that. I've been seeing a windfall, a major windfall coming in for several years. Like I said, I know for a fact that it was delayed for me to clear away some of the folks that I thought that was on gonna sit at the table with me. They absolutely were not, and I hadn't seen that yet. So that was part of the delay. Part of it was also me needing to tidy up some inner child shadow work, that kind of stuff that I need to. Yeah, it is. It is hard. And with the energies that are happening right now, there's planetary energies going on, there's some karmic stuff going on. Then, of course, and look, I don't know about y'all, and I love to think of myself as spiritual, but if you're not real careful, and that's honestly sometimes I think even if you are real careful, especially if you are somebody that's had to deal with like lifelong depression and dealing with a lot of unhealed trauma and that kind of stuff, it's so easy to dip back in those funks from time to time. And I found myself in one and just I had to go with it for a little while because you still got to get that noise out of your head. It's going to run for a minute. You can't just turn it off instantly. So I just had to let it run for a minute and then, but not allow myself to sit in it, wallow in it for too long, and then do what I had to do to try to get out of it. Healing is a process. I'm a teacher, but I ain't told nobody that I'm some on the top of the mountaintop guru. I got my ish to work through too, you know. So hey, Pierre, how are you? Good to have you in here, dear. Welcome, welcome. You said you got background as a general contractor, residential and commercial. You also have background in truck driving and logistics. Oh, all right. Good to know. Good to know, brother. Good to know. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I understood. That's one of the reasons why, even though I've kept it under my hat for a long time, I haven't talked this much about the vision ever with anybody else because I knew they wouldn't understand. But it just feels like the time is right for some reason because I do understand. I can't do none of this. Oh, I can't do barely any of this stuff by myself. But I understand that there'll be plenty of like-minded people that want in on this. They really do. Like I say, especially when it's a win-win for everybody. You said we're talking from soul to soul and inconsistency of the soul. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Pierre. All things are possible, Michelle, exactly. And again, Spirit has been showing me this for some time. And Brittany and I were sitting there just kind of idly chit chatting in the live stream on the other channel. And like the more I talk to her, the more I, it's crazy how in lockstep our lives and experiences are. And just the way we think about things, the stuff we think about, and like what's been shown to us, kind of the path that we're on. And I know it's not just her in here. Like I said, there's about 7 or 8 of us that are kind of weighing in actively on this conversation. But as long as we've been sitting here talking, there's been over 15 people in this chat. So whether they feel shy and just ain't speaking on it yet, the fact that they're even sitting here and their hearts are still tuned into it, I understand there's a reason why after all this time I finally felt free enough to actually speak it out of my mouth to someone else in detail. Oh, you got the spiritual stag in your life? Awesome, Michelle. Same, Brittany. Same. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. The only difference we have is that I'm not aware of a particular allegiance with dragons at this time, although it would not surprise me if I do have some, because I know for a fact I do have an ancient Egyptian connection, but I also have an ancient Asian connection. So honestly, I would not be at all surprised if I got multiple dragons in my experience. I'm not aware of them at this time. But I'm not afraid of them either. I do understand that dragons are highly spiritual. I'm kind of focused. Again, the way my ADD is set up, I didn't really question who a lot of my guides were. I pay more attention to how they feel. And pretty much the rest of them kind of faded to the background once I really kind of locked in on Yeshua and Inky, Michael, and Raphael. The rest of them kind of peripherally pop in here and there as I need be, but it's yeah. Um, I don't know. I don't know, bro. 100. I think some of the draconists are good and some of them are not. Yeah, that and honestly, Michelle, I think that Michael has stepped up so hard for me because I was raised in such a fear based religiosity that I was kind of afraid of not really knowing who I could step to and who wasn't, who was on the A team, who was on the B team, sort of thing. So I just went straight to the mountaintop. Yeshua. I know Yeshua is my dude. And then Michael is the protectorate. Raphael is the healer. So between that core, I knew I was going to be good. And so, like I said, that's my core. And then, of course, Lord Enki and Archangel Metatron and all them come in and out as at will. But, and trust me, over time, when I was trying, I used to call on everybody because the team was massive at one point. But now that I'm kind of being rarefied, if you will, getting ready to step into actual service, it feels like my team is still massive, but the ones that are actively working with me have kind of pared down to a core team. You have your allegiance with souls and souls. Cool. You associate with dragons and mountains. Awesome environment. Honestly, Michelle, I wish I could see him. Have been wanting to see my guides for the longest. I'm not afraid anymore. I would absolutely love to see my guides. And if they chose to show Raphael, they say shows up in human form sometimes. I'd love to see. I'm not afraid to see them in their natural state. If they wanted to show me however they look in their natural state, I would absolutely love to tell them. You say you love to tell your special thing that happens, but yeah, you can email me or hit me up on the WhatsApp group, Paul Snowchild. Email me at modernmysticmessages@gmail.com, or if you're able to access the group, it's Transformation, Rebirth, Ascension on WhatsApp, then you can DM me there, or DM me on at Modern Mystic Messages on Instagram, and then we can arrange a conversation. Okay, Brittany, enjoy your shower, my dear. You've seen him in a figure and it's bright with a gold. Honestly, the closest I've seen to anything, and it wasn't his actual figure, the day after my final, well, I still got a refresher coming, but after my level 3 Reiki attunement, Michelle, I saw what I refer to as an eye of Metatron, because it looked like an eye of Horus, but instead of golden, it was like the brightest white metal I've ever seen. It was such a shine. It was brighter than platinum. It was brighter than, it looked like it should have been wet if I touched it. I saw that in my third eye, and it was this brilliant blue eye in the center of that. And then after that, it morphed into a golden eye of Horus, and then it morphed into a winged Isis. But other than that, I've never actually seen their physical appearances. My conversations be all like clairaudiently. You said wash behind my ears? Nice meeting me. What are you talking about? Wash behind? What's wrong with behind my ears? Okay, if you say so. I do wash behind my ears when I bathe, but I don't know what that means, but all right. You work with Ayana Ishtar? Okay, ain't nothing wrong with that. Ayana Ishtar, that's ISIS all day. In the native tribes, you have the blue and red spirit. You've seen both. Cool. The only time I've seen a being that I'm aware of, what's the deal with washing behind the ears, Paul Snowcloud? What does that do? I don't understand what that means. But oh, for Brittany? Oh, okay. She going to take a shower, but oh, you sound like a kid, like a mama. Make sure you get them ears behind them knees. Oh, they dark forces come in behind them and try to cling to the dirt to take control of your hearing. Oh wow, okay. No, but when you said that, we was talking about Brittany. That just reminded me of a mama, cause yeah, my mom used to be on that kind of stuff. I can remember when I was a kid, especially I think heavier kids and African American kids, especially, we get like, well, I still have like the darker elbows from pressure on there, but I had like the darker neck thing, and I can remember my mother painfully scrubbing my neck, swore up and down it was dirt. It's not dirt, and she was a nurse. She should have known that. She should have known better than that. But she made sure she was gonna scrub my neck until I was like, oh God. But yeah. It was fine, Paul. But I thought you were saying something as far as, because I was curious. I wasn't offended. I just wanted to know what it was for. Um, but the only time I think I've actually seen an entity, I thought it was a recurring dream when I was a child, but when I got older, I realized that I think I was kind of sort of seeing through the veil, but I didn't realize what it was literally until about 3 or 4 years ago. Um, the Vedic representation of the Devi has come to me several times in childhood. And there was like a spatial anomaly that happened with it, because in the dream, I thought it was coming after me. As a child, I didn't have a point of reference. So it was kind of like it's an oblong kind of cigar shape, but I said it looked like a walking surfboard, except it didn't have any feet, but it was a shiny black obelisk type or oval cigar shape type thing with white eyes and a mouth. I think he probably does though, because truthfully, that's why I say every representation he's ever shown up in that I've ever seen him as Shiva, he was very handsome. As Olokun or Poseidon, he's very handsome. Even in like when the Astro Legends TV did their version of the Lost Book of Enki, they show him as in a man's representation. Thoth always shows up as the half bird, half man, but Inky show up is completely dateable. Oh, I ain't even trying to be crushing on my lord, but grandpa, whoever, but he looked good. I ain't even gonna lie, bro. 100. I'd go out with him. I surely would. You again, I get where you might think that representation of Shiva was a little bit feminine, maybe, but in my opinion, I don't think so. I think he's beautiful. But you also got to remember, like Shakti and Shiva together do their thing. So yeah. And truthfully, a balanced divine masculine will come off as slightly feminine. A truly balanced one. Our idea of the ultra manly man is a little bit of misogyny. Nataraja is dancing with Shiva. Okay, cool. Yeah, but you also have to remember, Michelle, Inky ain't just in the spirit. He actually is a being that can very much take a physical body. Yeah, he does go into his Aguanti to recharge for a long time, and he's probably pretty much in a stasis state at this point. But he was flesh and blood when he first stepped on this planet. Probably, he probably does. Every time I've seen him depicted, he does. Raphael shows up with dark hair. Michael has the blondish hair. Gabriel kind of sort of the same, but Gabriel's features always look harder, kind of more chiseled. And then Chamuel's features look softer, like almost like that balance of the divine masculine feminine in the tarot anyway. Oh, the encounters that you've had with him. Okay. But you're right. I mean, truthfully, in the spirit, there wouldn't be gender. Angels are truly genderless in the spirit. But what we were taught of as angels are messengers, they have a physical being or basis to them because they can travel dimensions, they can teleport, they can talk to us telepathically and all the rest of that, but they are from a star system. He said, and look, probably, bro, 100, he showed up in two pantheons as the god of wine, drunkenness, and merriment, Bacchus and Dionysus. So, yeah, he liked alcohol, he liked barbecue. Hey, Antoine, how are you, darling? Awesome, Paul Snowcloud. Have a beautiful rest of your night, dear. We will catch you on the next one. Namaste to you, brother. Yeah. Honestly, environment, when you said that, talking about embodying them, that, yeah, I don't even want to go there because I'm getting a little too old for all of that. Years ago, when I was telling y'all about so the true speed of your soul is your true understanding of infinity. I wouldn't doubt that at all. And when that kind of goes along with what I was saying, because by Earth calendar years, I'm 57. And I don't know why I've been embracing that so much lately, because I truthfully understand it really doesn't mean anything. Because I've also been shown that for some of us, and again, I believe it's going to be granted to me, but I don't know 100% how that's going to work out. Oh, you're welcome, darling. You are so very, very welcome. Um, But what's been shown to me is that within our lifetime, and certainly if not within my lifetime, within the next generation's lifetime, lifespans are going to begin expanding rather dramatically on this planet. Um, and for sure, after the powers that were start crumbling. Right, but that's why I was saying, Michelle, I've kind of been shown a point of not only spiritual rejuvenation, but some physical rejuvenation being granted. Years ago, I was told I would be blessed with another child. Now, mind you, I was 39, 40 years old when I was told that, and my tubes had been cut, tied, and burned then. And I thought that it meant that I was going to wind up like maybe adopting a child somewhere or whatever the case may be. But later on, Oshun actually showed me spirit babies, and now that I really got it in my head to travel and grow and all that, I'm on the fence about that because on the one hand, if my body receives this, like I said, lose the weight, get healthy, rejuvenate, all the rest of that. If money is no issue, I would love a do over. I love children. Well, I love my own children. I do love children in general, but I don't really want to do a whole lot of working with children because you have to deal with their parents. You know what I mean? But if spirit chose to make me the guardian of a child and gave me the stamina and the rejuvenating spirit and the wherewithal to be able to raise that child with a loving parent without the money troubles and the things that I went through when I was raising that first go around, and I knew I was going to be able to be around long enough to actually get them, guide them and get them to adulthood without being sitting up in an old folks home somewhere. I'd love that opportunity for that do over. Um, I just let go of it because the money didn't line up and the this and that didn't line up. However, what was that we went taking back through the scripture about Sarah and Abraham? That part. And spirit literally showed me they want the second clairaudient experience I had. One of the messages was the message for the lady at my job for her to go to the hospital. One of the messages was for the dude I was dating at the time for him to take the next settlement offer or it was going to go away. And the third message was it was a number 252. I don't know what that means. The fourth message was that I would be blessed with another child. And again, my life was so karmically toxic at that point, I wouldn't have dared think about bringing another child into that. I didn't even want to raise an adopted child at that point, but I've continued to hear that over the years. So how that plays out for me, I have no idea. I'm here and going with the flow. That's all. Me too, Michelle. That's why I said at this point, I'm all for the rejuvenation. I'm not as on fire for the child, but again, when he mentioned the fact that they can incorporate, I am aware that there is going to be a wave of very special babies that are going to incarnate, excuse me, on this planet over the next 10, 20, 30 years. So truthfully, if spirit lined it up and gave me a bit of a calendar reset and just determined that I was going to be the guardian of one of them and chose to bring it through my womb, who am I to say no? Like, really? If he could put a baby in a 99 and a 90-year-old woman, he could put one in me if he chose to, like, honestly. And I ain't saying nothing weird as far as I'm sleeping with nobody. I'm very well aware that like Yeshua and John and all of them were most likely artificial insemination. Now if Yahweh finally did give Sarah her baby, that's probably why it took him 25 years to do it, because he absolutely hated humans and the thought of sleeping with a human just disgusted him, and he did not have the scientific know-how to be able to do like the artificial insemination and all that stuff. He would have had to do the deed, and that's probably why it took him 25 years to get around to doing it. You set your spirit out to find and guide these baby spirits. The ones that I saw, I ain't even got to guide them. Like I say, oh man, now this is it's crazy. At the time when I saw them in my sleep, in my dream, I had just, not just, but I had been like confirmed clairaudiently linked with my counterpart for about a year. Okay. And I mean, once we realized that we did have real telepathy happening, we used to practice it on an almost daily basis. And he had come in, we were getting ready to mentally link up for the day, and he let me know that he was going to have to cut it short because his mother's friend had some kind of an issue going on that he had to go take her to the hospital. She was an older lady, but she was pregnant. And so him and his brother went and took the lady to the hospital, but I fell asleep. And as I was having this dream, in the dream, and it was so weird because it looked more like an office than an actual hospital. It was, I guess it was supposed to be an African hospital. I don't know. But I ran into like the waiting room, and there was two babies on a desk just laying there. One was wrapped in pink and one was wrapped in blue. They were really tiny and they were really, really still. And for whatever reason, when I ran into the room in the dream, even though I knew they were babies and I knew for a fact his children were much older, in the dream, in my opinion, they represented his children and I thought they were unalive. And I lost it. In the dream, I screamed and I fell to my knees. And then I went outside running, screaming his name. And his mother stopped me in the dream. Now, in real life, she don't speak a word of English, okay? But she's appeared in my dreams twice to talk to me. And this time she stopped me and she was like, don't worry, they're not unalive. They're just not born yet. And she went on by her business, and I woke up and all the rest of that. And at the time, I wasn't even sure what she looked like. At that point, I had not seen a picture of her, so I asked to see a picture of his mother, and I was shocked. In the dream, she showed up a little bit darker than the picture showed her to be, but it was that his mother entered my dream state twice before I ever met her. And one of the times was to tell me about these unborn babies. I think so too, Michelle. That's why I said, even though my age and medical state currently would not suggest that that's still a possibility, I still don't discount it because, like you said, anything literally can happen depending on what spirit got in store for you. Anything. And I've just learned to be open minded and go with the flow. Same, bro. 100. For years, I used to be having all kind of dreams about wild animals, alligators, and all kinds of craziness. But I had a lot of enemies in my life that I wasn't aware of either that would pop up too. Exactly, and they done already told me 15 years ago. It wasn't that I would have another child. The message was specifically, you will be blessed with another child. So, however that plays out, it's gonna happen at some point. Whether, like I said, whether I cross a child's path, that however, I'm not putting no limitations on it at all. Cause I know that spirit do what spirit gonna do. Period. And the best thing we can do is get out the way and stop limiting spirit with our doubts. Oh, Pierre, I completely understand that. That's why I say I didn't doubt that that was actually her energy. And again, I was so concerned when I first started falling down this part of the spiritual rabbit hole, if you will. He was a church boy at the time, and I was so worried that, like, oh Lord, he gonna think I'm losing my mind, and it's gonna freak him out, and he's not gonna. I was afraid to let him know the transformation I was undergoing, and eventually we started kind of comparing notes, and come to find out he was undergoing a transformation too. He was being led to read about things like tantra and wanting to learn more about the spirit realm, and being told that we needed to go to Egypt and a couple of other places over there to actually receive some activations and things like that, and just all kinds of stuff. And I asked him one day, I was like, would it freak you out if you came around the corner and saw me levitating off the bed? He was like, no, I trust you. Whatever happens, you good. I'm like, okay, just wanted to know. But yeah, like I said, once we really, I don't mess around in the astral realm just to be out there. But I mean, of course, I trust him. So once we really understood that we were having for real telepathic conversation, we worked on that and to keep that link open. Oh, Antoine, I brought you confirmation of saying it. Awesome, because I honestly be sometimes I'd be like, why do I really want to share some of this stuff? But if it's a confirmation, then that's exactly why I was led to say it now and not before. You said your dreams sometimes have turned out what you felt versus what you saw. Yeah. Bro 100, that's me. My actual name is Teresa. And once upon a time, when I started this channel, I was going, and I think I did have it as Ananya Ngozi for a while because that's my spiritual name, which actually means um, unique blessing. So I was going to start wearing my spiritual name. But when I really started to think about the fact, my parents really didn't do a bad job, excuse me, in naming me, even though that probably wasn't their intention, because Teresa Priscilla means ancient harvester. And that's kind of sort of what I'm here to do. I am an old soul, and so I don't have no issue with using my government. You probably do, Michelle. We have, and you may even bump up against some of them at some point before your turn. This particular ride on the rock is completed for you. You might. There's a lot of folks that are old souls that have intended deliberately come back here during this time period for what's happening now, even though that sounds crazy with the rough stuff that's going on. But for Gaia's ascension, for our ascension, for closing out these karmic cycles for ourselves, for being able to do this ancestral work for our bloodlines, we we literally stood in line and signed up for exactly this, exactly now. Hey, Maui Wowie, welcome in, my dear. Oh, you're Michael Environment? Awesome. Ooh, pay attention to them, Maui Wowie. Write them down if you're able to. My biggest thing is my dreams flee so fast when I wake up. Even when I be having it in my mind that I want to write them down, I'll wake up from the dream and yeah, it's just gone. And sometimes for years, I don't remember dreaming at all. I used to have horrible nightmares, then those went away, then I didn't dream at all. Well, I'm sure I did, but I couldn't remember any of them at all. And then now I be busy. I know I be dreaming, but my dream recall is really bad. 2018 seems to have been like I'm telling you, it was the tower point for several of us. It was for sure. It was my turning point, Antoine. 2018 was October of 2018 was when my big tower fell, and I've had little tower stuff since then, and trying to get back up on my feet and doing it the wrong way, and then get kicked back down again. But the really big one that really meant Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore. That came in 2018 for sure. And I moved around. 2018, I went from Sarasota when the tower hit. I moved here to Atlanta. The end of 2019, beginning of 2020, I moved back to Sarasota. In 22, I came back here to Atlanta, and I have never done this much. I have done a lot of moving around, but not in such rapid fire like that. But each and every time I know for a fact that spirit was moving me because I was in exactly the right place in exactly the right time for the maximum. Even though things have been kind of unusual, I was where I needed to be at that time, all things considered. Like, and it always happened really quickly. The decision to move would come in within like a week or two, gone. You have to trust the flow. You do. When you're being moved around by spirit, you don't have no choice but to trust the flow and have faith. Because Lord knows, like I said, I had to learn how to survive with nothing. It ain't no survive, because I am very blessed. My extraction team is that beautiful brother in there. And honestly, I had to stop and think about it. Being here, I've even had a very toxic friend that berated me for being here in my living situation and all of that. My friend is a confirmed bachelor. He's just a singular person, and that's his walk in life. I ain't trying to set him up with nobody. He do him. We're both kind of neurodivergent. Our living situation is unusual, but it works for us. He wouldn't let me pay rent up in here if I had a bajillion dollars, which is fortunate because I didn't have a bajillion. But so I wouldn't feel like I was being a struggle bum or taking unfair advantage. He doesn't cook at all, ever. So I basically do all of his cooking for him. But I was able to bring his monthly grocery budget from $1,000 down to under 500. So he ain't mad, I ain't mad. It's a win-win for everybody. But it allowed me a point of healing that I didn't even realize. That's why I say he's part of my spiritual extraction team, because he's the one man on this planet other than my children, literally the one man on this planet other than my children that I've had any kind of a close relationship with that has not tried to attempt to make me barter with my body. I was a very, very traumatized, damaged soul. Even though I didn't give up on love, I have been seriously mistreated at the hands of men. I'm not bitter about it. I do understand the lessons and all of that. But in my healing, Spirit saw to it. And we met online 20 years ago in a Yahoo chat room playing dominoes or something. I forgot what it was. He was playing dominoes. It was something else I used to play all the time, and I don't even remember now. But it turned out that it's been 23 years ago now. But when I say brother from another mother, when I had nowhere to go, it worked out. And again, as long as he got breath in his body, I know I got somewhere to stay. As long as I got a dollar to my name, I know if he needed, he got it. We're just like that, you know? Um, but I needed to be able to heal in peace, because at the time when my ex bankrupted me overnight and left me homeless, I could come stay with him and I could do that every time I've ever, even though we weren't no longer together romantically. He used to say slick stuff out of his mouth and put all kinds of pressure on me that made me feel real creepy and yuck. And yeah, so it was like, yeah, I needed to be here. I needed to be exactly where I'm at. You thought they were gonna put you in the ground? Yeah, I honestly kind of thought I was gonna have to deal with some stuff. And Michelle, that's exactly what it was. And I didn't even realize it at first. The first year that I was here, when I came in 2018, like I say, I came on a humble. Pat literally had to send me a ticket, because when I say my ex bankrupted me, I was broke down like a fraction. I left Florida with 2 suitcases and 2 storage totes. I had to leave the rest of my life behind, lost everything. And I literally sat here for almost a year with zero income, but I never, like I say, never want for nothing, not really. Somehow it showed me that God is my supply. You know what I'm saying? And then I was able to kind of get over the shock and the trauma and got a little piece of job, and it really won't about nothing. Then I went back to my old job in Florida just in time for the pandemic to hit. But that was still too, that was on time, because had I not gone back to Florida when I did, I wouldn't have gotten anything from the pandemic funds and stuff. And as it was, I wound up, it took me months to get it, but I did be able to get it. Oh, Antoine, I make amazing mashed potatoes, my dear. Amazing. But depends. You're vegan, aren't you? Again, I've got, well, with pea milk, I could do it. I just, yeah, Ripple, I could probably do it. They're a little sweet, but it ain't as bad as using like almond milk. Um, I still use butter though. I'm so sorry. I do use real cow butter. I'll get organic butter or whatever, but I love me some mashed taters. Bro, 100, yeah, he do. Honestly, it's crazy if people didn't understand us in this place. Sometimes, I mean, he come in, hey, how you doing? How was your day? Da 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 da. We may have 2 or 3 minutes worth of conversation, and he go up in the room and watch his little ESPN, and I'm down here farting around at the tarot table or whatever I'm doing, and we go on about our business. I had to laugh one time though, because he was talking about, you know, I was thinking about transferring out to Phoenix. I'm like, damn it, Pat, we're not finna be two cat people sitting out here for the rest of our lives. I'm getting the hell up out of here and I'm going to Ghana. But I mean, like I said, I love that man because truthfully, it allowed me a safe space to reflect, to go inward and do the shadow work and to heal without the financial pressures. I ain't had to figure out how I'm gonna get out here and get an apartment for $2,000 a month that I don't even really want to. All none of that. I did not have to do that, and for that I am truly grateful. My living situation is unique, but I'm so very grateful for it. Yeah, and like I said, to not have transactional beings. And again, I'm not saying all men are like that. I am not. I'm just saying the ones that I had manufactured in and around my experience were very much transactional like that. And I was just at a point where I was done with all of that. I needed to go somewhere and heal, and I got that. So I'm grateful. Hey, Jilly, how are you, my dear? Me, Michelle, it's been, wait a minute now. Let me see. Let me stop lying. It's been 5 years for me. Yeah. I mean, I haven't been in an actual relation, like a physical relationship for almost a decade, but I did some foolish stuff back then about 5 years ago. But yeah, I decided to just shut it all the way down to clear my energy, do the cord removals, stop playing stupid games so I could stop winning stupid prizes. And I'm past the point where I cannot be hot in the draws and claim that I got to go. No, we ain't got to do that. Plus, I'm in Atlanta, girl. It's the download capital of the world. No, I don't need no kind of maintenance, nothing up out of here. I will wait on my divine counterpart. If I have to wait a decade on him, I'll wait. And if I don't wind up with none, I'm at the age and stage now. I'll be all right with that too. Oh wow, Michelle. See, and that's the part that that again, I'm so grateful that I didn't have to face that because as jacked up as my energy was, it probably would have wound up again. Like I said, when I tell you I was a magnet for really painful energy outlook men who saw me as low hanging fruit. They loved my energy, but from a imbalanced empath with daddy issues, it's not a fun time for me. Again, when you get into a place in life where you got to go along to get along and it becomes transactional, no one should have to live like that. No, you're not a prostitute, but you're seriously bargaining with your body to a degree for people that you know you don't want to and can't make a life with. That's no way to live. But as an imbalanced empath, at one point in my life, I was there. So just to not even have to deal with that, oh my God, yeah, yeah. I'm just, I'm so thankful. Oh, you say you ain't. Every time I talk to you, Antoine, you be in there eating some beans and cauliflowers and eggplants and mushrooms and all. I thought you were vegan. Okay. We, like I said over here, well, I used to eat meat and I probably will go back to some form of keto pescatarianism because I'm so gluten sensitive. Truthfully, Pat is kind of a pastatarian. So or carbitarian, whatever you want to call it. I will probably wind up doing like salmon, like clean salmon, organic chicken, maybe some eggs or something, just because I've been doing the protein thing for so long. And with as much weight as I need to lose, truthfully, going kind of heavy, carnivore, not quite, I can't do all the way carnivore. There's no way in the world I'm gonna just be able to eat meat 24/7. But I do need to up my meat protein intake for a while anyway, because that will be the fastest way for me to be able to get this weight off. I'm super carb sensitive at this point, so I'll do that for a minute. But for right now, I'm on day 2, baby, of the fast, so I ain't doing nothing for a minute. And like I said, I'm gonna do raw vegan after I come out. When I break the fast, it'll be raw vegan for like 30 days. And that's primarily smoothies and salads and fruit. And then after that, I'll be introducing a little meat, eggs, and stuff like that. I'm glad, Michelle. Let me see. You also shadow work and pondering on the yin yang. Come up with some really good meditation on the yin yang. That's awesome, Michelle. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that you got out of that situation, Michelle. Yes. Purple Mountain Majesty. That's beautiful. Oh yeah, environment. You said the best practice is the awareness that desire and fear create lack or emptiness. From where there we find fullness, and truthfully, that's what I try to lean into, um, so that I don't. Every now and then, the anxiety of the fact that the money isn't here yet does creep in. Because I mean, you have real bills and things that come up in life, but I don't allow myself to spiral into that fear the way I used to, because I do understand it. Like I said, manifestation is an art, so, and a little bit of a science. So yeah. Hey Cielo, awesome. Well, it ain't awesome that you almost, but the almost part means you didn't let men destroy you. So in that fact, in that aspect, welcome to the club. Like I said, I never intended to have this level of transparency when I said I was going to create a YouTube channel, but I also realized that it is this level of transparency that will help some other folks be able to forgive themselves and heal, or identify or be thankful for their healing, to stop being so damn judgmental against themselves and what they've been through in their journey. Because even though we heal and we say we've forgiven, sometimes in those darker moments we still on that, oh my God, well, I can't believe I did that thing. I do it too. But I have promised myself that I would. Well, I ain't promised myself. Yeshua and my spirit team said I'm gonna tell my story, and I'm gonna stop trying to edit it out and make it sound all sweet and light, because it wasn't sweet and light. My wisdom is hard earned. But if me being honest about my mistakes can help someone else kind of short circuit their journey to slingshot themselves over some of them mud holes, then it'll be well worth the temporary embarrassment or whatever that I get over myself and just tell the damn story, because we all do it. But them old ladies, they need to stop doing that. A lot of folks, they make young women go through their whole phase. I hope I don't get in trouble on YouTube for saying that, but it's the truth. Especially once we got birth control and the feminist movement and the I don't need a man network, all of that. Oh Lord, I'm about to give myself whiplash. But we go through that phase and chasing bad boys and all of that. And then they get older and run up in the church and get so butter won't melt in their mouth and forget where the hell they come from and leave the generation of daughters that they created and sons that they created out there in the wind, acting like they so holier than thou, and these kids coming along behind making the same mistakes and worse. And we need to speak up and help them stop the madness. Brittany, I'm happy for you too, because you, when we talked earlier, like you said, it seemed like your departure from your spouse was smooth, and he was a great husband and all that. And truthfully, but it's cool to understand that sometimes, even though they didn't really seem like there was major problems, sometimes it's still the starter pack, and you just have to let it go if it's not meant to be. Awesome. You said you love meat and pork, but you always avoided. I don't like milk either, bro. 100. When I was a kid, my mother would force me to drink it a little bit. I didn't. I'm funny about mouthfeel of things, and even as a child, whole milk felt weird in my mouth. And I've gotten to where I can drink it if it's super cold, like washing down some warm chocolate cake or some chocolate chip cookies or something like that. But just to see me go pour open the fridge, oh, let me go get a glass of milk. You never see me do that. I used to eat it with cereal, but I stopped eating cereal pretty much too. I ain't gonna say I don't enjoy the taste of it, but again, the more gluten and grain and sugar sensitive I become, I just had to let all of that stuff go. And then I retrained myself to like vanilla almond milk. Unsweetened vanilla almond milk is cool. If I want to make some oatmeal or something now, I will occasionally make some oatmeal, but I won't make it with almond milk. If I want to get real fancy, I might get a thing of sweetened condensed milk just because I'm really wanting to get my sugar on and I like that taste. But yeah, cow's milk, I had to let that go. But mashed potatoes do need some cow's milk in it. They really do. I can do it with pea milk, but it needs some cow's milk in it. Oh wow, Brittany, I can't say I hate meat. I love seafood. Yeah, I'm a meat eater. I always have been. I ain't gonna lie. I've stopped eating as much red meat and all, but yeah. Like drinking tea while fasting. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Again, I'm not gonna be trying to do a pure fast. I've got the I forget what they are. I think one I got some of the fruit juice powders. Like I got some watermelon fruit powder in there, pineapple, and some dragon fruit. I've got some of the clear. Um, mm, mm, mm. I'm having such a brain hiccup. They're like some of the protein powders and different things. Um, so yeah, if I really get to pushing, like I said, I do want to get to 7 days without any smoothies or anything else. Well, water and tea. I'd like to get to 7 days without doing any of the rest of that stuff. But then after that, every few days, if I need a smoothie or something, so that I'm not crashing out from not having anything but water, yeah, I'll allow myself to do that. Oh yeah, most of the time it is ourself that needs forgiving. Environment. Pumpkin soup felt weird to you as a kid? Yeah. I don't really care for pumpkin, period. I like sweet potato pie. I don't care for pumpkin soup. Actually, I did have some pumpkin soup from, what is that, Pacific something that they sell it on Amazon. It comes in like the green cartons. It was like ginger pumpkin something. That actually wasn't bad. It's kind of really sweet, but I enjoyed it. I had bought some for him and for Pat. He decided he just wasn't eating it and wasn't eating it. So I drank it one day and it wasn't bad. Cream and mash, cream and mashed potatoes. Yeah, that is good. Put some butter in there with some cream, mashed potato, a little bit of shredded cheese. Throw a little garlic off in there. Yo, okay, I'm gonna be hungry. Let me stop. Let me stop. I'll be in here rationalizing with myself. Well, I could get some baked potatoes and broccoli. I'm not doing that. You know what I really want though? I don't know why. Now this is gonna sound goofy. I want some cottage cheese and pineapple. I love cottage cheese and canned pineapple. Don't ask me why, but I really do. Yeah. And as much as I said I will, and I did think about getting one more watermelon because it should be able to get at least one more in the season before they start getting scarce. Um, but truthfully, that's not truly fasting. But if that's all I'm having during the day is a piece of watermelon and a cup of cottage cheese and pineapple, I think I'd be all right. Ooh, you said corned beef hash with sliced potatoes and veg. I'm not actually big on corned beef hash, but I mean, if it's done right, I don't have no problem with it. But again, it's a texture thing. It's a texture. Yeah, definitely prefer watermelon with seeds in them, Niana. Sometimes in a pinch, I have gotten them when I didn't have any other choice, but I prefer heirloom melons. GMO melons taste weird to me. Some of them taste like they got perfume in them and all kinds of stuff, but they are also, like you said, they are a dieter's best friend. Well, not the GMO ones, but watermelon period is a dieter's best friend because you can still get the satisfaction of eating to your satisfaction, and then, like you said, it's a diuretic. It's doing all that other good stuff. Get you, yeah. I love watermelon. Most of the time when I have corned beef, well, it's the hash part. When people do corned beef hash, a lot of times when I've had it from other people, it kind of takes on the texture of dog food, and then I have that thing with mouth feel. Now I'll make a corned beef, and I'll do it with the potatoes and all that. If I cook it down myself, because I'll just cook it till it begins, the corned beef begins to break down. But I'm not gonna cook it down so low that the potatoes break down. So yeah. Yeah, that's what I do, Michelle. I'll do the corned beef roast, and then towards the end, I'll put the potatoes and the carrot and do it like a pot roast. But it's that corned beef flavor. But when it gets to the point where that meat starts breaking down and gets a little bit stringy, oh, that's good eating right there. Used to chop fruit up and put custard on it. Ooh, that sounds good too. Corned beef and cabbage, yeah. But now when I do the corned beef and cabbage, I gotta make me some cornbread. And I'm a country girl. My daughter used to, when she was little, tell me, "Can we have a corn cake, Mama?" Because I'm gonna put some sugar and milk and butter in it. I put an extra egg in it and put some sugar and all in it. It do taste kind of sweet like cake, but that good old Jiffy cornbread and some corned beef and cabbage. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Open the window. Oh my goodness. Now I tell you what, I ain't had in a hot minute, but I used to love making shepherd's pie. Mm. All of those of them put the stretchy pants on type meals though. Mm-mm. I don't like crackling. Again, mouthfeel. I'll eat pork skins, but crackling would always scratch the top of my mouth. I couldn't deal with the crackling part. But I mean, the flavor be decent, but I've never been a crackling girl. You say you do sour cream and cream corn, what, in your cornbread? Ooh, Brittany, I would put, honestly, instead of the sour cream, if I did that, I'd put cream corn and cream cheese in my cornbread. It'll be corn cake for real, then make a corn pudding out of that bad boy. Mint stew and dumplings? Mm-mm. Now I do make a mean chicken and dumplings though, and look, I get lazy sometimes and I'll buy the dumplings, but really don't mind taking the time to every now and then. I used to actually roll out my own dumplings and make drop dumplings, make some chicken and dumplings. Yes, Lord. Oh, I'm sure it's good your way too, honey. I'm just saying. I just know me, because I don't like. I know that there are different ways of making cornbread. I've never cared for the non-sweet ones. I just like sweet cornbread. So. It'll happen. Environment. It's gonna be about 30 to 45 days from now because we did inadvertently did some things that YouTube don't really like, and we just gonna have to find our way around them. I didn't know how to make the subscriber only mode, so we were getting bombarded by really hateful trolls, and we were removing them from the chat, and YouTube doesn't like that, and it lowers your engagement, but it'll get back up there. Like I say, and once I really get to where I'm getting back on my feet spiritually and spending more time in research and bringing cool things to talk about spiritually and all of that, it'll get back up. It will. That's why I say whether it take a week, 2 weeks. Again, if I'm doing the 30-day thing, and truthfully, I was thinking about doing like a 90. Well, from now to the end of the year is kind of my gig. I know I'm in an initiation thing. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening for us. I'm manifesting getting out the country, getting this money, getting the channel together. I don't know how it's all going to happen. Maybe manifesting a sponsor or a patron or however it go. But I know that this is the beginning of it. So however long it takes, I'm not upset. I'm not impatient. I'm not disappointed. I'm glad to have somebody to sit here and talk to, because other than that, I'd be doom scrolling on YouTube and looking crazy. So yeah. You said what's coming? Oh, she was basically what do you have coming in? You talking about as far as the manifestations coming? I think a lot of us been feeling those energies, and it's on its way. But did you have something specific coming, or you just feel the energy shifting, Michelle? Oh man, let me tell you something else too, Stephen. Now, I was taking a shortcut because truthfully, I haven't been using our oven. The door is jacked up and I couldn't get it right, so I just stopped using it because it. Anyway, that's a whole nother project. But on Amazon grocery, because I do like the grocery delivery, the fresh. They have that Bear Creek chicken noodle soup, the dry soup packets, and I go and I'll get like a can of the cream of chicken soup and a can of evaporated milk and a bag of peas and carrots, or actually I get the mixed vegetables, thing of mushrooms, and a pack of chicken thighs. Cut up an onion, season your chicken real good, and cook that down in the thing to start, in a pan, in a skillet, cover it, let it cook in its own juices until it comes off the bone. Peel it off the bone and shred it up, pull it out the pan, and then cook those mushrooms and mixed vegetables, cut up an onion in with it. Well, you actually would have cut the onion up with the chicken, but as all of that juice and all that stuff to reduce down, cook the mixed vegetables and the mushrooms in that juice from where you cook that chicken, and then put that soup on with the water, but put that can of soup and the can of milk in with it, and a nice knob of butter or so, and then make you some homemade chicken noodle soup. Oh man, oh man. You're gonna have the itis for about 3 4 days trying to eat all that, but I'm trying to tell you it's good. Oh, you said an energy that had your eye opening and closing, something unseen. Oh, maybe you getting ready to get some kind of an energetic upgrade, or maybe you getting ready to meet up with a spirit guide. Now my eye's been twitching, but I don't know if it's probably magnesium deficiency in my case. I like to think it was a spirit guide, but I'm pretty sure it's magnesium deficiency. I'm just saying. Dang, I got myself wanting some now, Steven, but I'm not gonna do that. That's just way too heavy. I might get the watermelon, but on this fasting journey, that'll be waiting for me on the other side. But I can't. I got to get over this hump, so I can't. I really can't go down that road. I'm gonna just fantasize about food a lot for the next few weeks. But yeah. Me too, Brittany. Like I said, I know I'm with Yeshua and Michael and Raphael, but I hear some people talk about spirit guides, oh, my spirit guide is named Pinky and she da 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 da. If I have one of those type spirit guides, I like to meet up with them too. But truthfully, in a way, I think my spirit guide is my higher self, my inner being. And I honor, because at first I used to sense her and perceive her as something outside of myself. But couple years ago, I began to sense the merging. So I don't know if I will be meeting an additional spirit guide because I really think I'm merging with my inner being. I think that's one of the reasons I don't feel the need to wear the name Ananya Ngozi anymore. I really think that's why. Because once upon a time, I really saw that is like Ananya Ngozi was my inner being. I saw it as something separate, and then I got to a place where I thought I wanted to adopt that, like publicly use that spiritual name, and then I was like, no, I'm okay with mine. But I really believe I'm merging with my inner being. I don't know if you would call that a walk-in or what the situation is, but yeah, Niana, you on your path to meet yours too. You think yours inner being is your spirit guide? Honest, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I'm trying to tell you. Oh God, Brittany, I'm trying to tell you. One of these days, we're gonna have to go and take a vacation somewhere, sitting on the beach, somewhere being fed something out of a coconut by a dude named Alejandro. That's my fantasy. I don't know. You can get your own, but yeah, Alejandro gonna be serving me something out of a coconut shell. Um, and then we can compare notes. Or shoot, we ain't got to compare notes. We've been copying off the same test paper the whole time. That is kind of crazy, though, ain't it? And where are you from, Brittany? I forgot. You may have told me before. You ain't got to give me the city and all. Maybe just the state. Oh, it's 10-10. Well, it was 10-10. Oh, you in Baltimore? You from Baltimore? Oh, yeah. You St. Pete, yeah. But you're in North Carolina now. Okay. I remember the St. Pete part. I didn't remember the Baltimore thing. Hey, Jamie Ray, how are you? Welcome in. Welcome in. Stephen, I haven't seen what's going on recently with it. I heard a little bit about it before. I probably will. I sure do. You got one for me, Red Rob? If you come in here with the foolishness, you'll be ignored. We ain't got to get rid of you. Like I said, I think you're cool. I do need a job. I really do. But then again, every time I try to get one, it winds up going away. So, do Spirit really want me to have a job, or do they want me to be patient and have faith in what they've shown me? There's the rub. The only reason I actually need a job, if they choose not to give me a financial windfall, Red Rob, is so that I can get the seed money up to begin my spiritual business. Because I actually have energy in these hands. I'm an excellent tarot reader. I'm also Reiki attuned. I work with crystals and stones. I know how to charge stones and set intentions. I make candles with those stones. I make jewelry with those stones. It does take money to get the LLC and the money for beginning inventory and begin to market and get a clientele up and those sorts of things. But yeah, I need a job. You ain't said nothing wrong. But the only problem is I don't fit in corporate America. Okay, now you said you wasn't hating before, but you ain't gonna whip no sense into me. Number one, I'm probably old enough to be your mama. So talking about spirit does not make it go away. I don't know what you own. Law of attraction says like unto itself is drawn, and focus on what you want. Focused intention. Every teacher that's ever taught anything about manifestation and law of attraction has not said that talking about spirit makes it go away. So now I am finna ignore you. So no offense, but go on about your business. Or you can sit here quietly. I'm just No, I didn't say spirit make my job go away. I said, does spirit want me working in corporate America where I do not fit? Or does spirit want me to show faith and hold on to what they've shown me? Because you can say I need a job, but we both know if I sit here long enough, I'm not being paid to do this right now. But if I'm diligent at doing this and put the skin in the game, this will pay me. And I ain't talking about Google AdSense paying me. I don't make full time income from this now, but if you notice, I'm not starving. I do pick up personal readings. Right now, I've got to put together a coaching platform and program and figure out some extra content. I've had 3 or 4 people that ask me about coaching and counseling services. I've had multiple people asking me about doing personal readings. I've had several people say if I get the wherewithal to set up and make the candles, that they're very interested in purchasing them. If I make the jewelry, they're very interested in purchasing them. So for me, genuinely, if a windfall doesn't come my way to make it possible to do that, the only thing that I would genuinely need a job for is for a few months to get the startup capital together to start my spiritual business and then get my behind out of corporate America. Because every time I try to work a regular job, they capitalize on my true empathy for people and my soft customer service skills and wind up throwing me in extremely stressful supervisory positions where I am literally battling with screaming customers all day. And that winds up impacting my spirituality to where I can't really do this the way I need to. No, I didn't get fired, Red Rob. I have not been fired, and I can't tell you when. 500 of us got laid off at the same time because the company severed their relationship with our client. I didn't do anything wrong. Like I said, I was promoted to supervisor, and then we all got laid off. You bringing some nasty energy up in here for somebody that supposedly meant somebody some good. You don't know me from Adam. How you gonna tell me I got fired? You don't even know me. I'm not lazy. Even though I hated that job, I showed up and did a damn fine job every day. It was stressing me out. I was having anxiety attacks and knots in my stomach. Could not read tarot for the collective to save my life because of the hell and confusion that kept going there. But I still showed up and did my job, Red Rob, until they laid us all off. And at that point, and again, you don't know how many I've applied for. You don't know how many I've interviewed for and didn't get. I live in Atlanta where there's about 5 or 6 million people here. I do not have transportation, and online work from home jobs are not, they're not falling out the woodwork everywhere. There's a whole lot of people. Look it up online. There's a thing that a lot of corporations will put ads out for jobs just to collect infos off of resumes, knowing damn well they ain't hiring nowhere. I've been going through that loop since I got laid off, Red Rob. And again, I'm 57 years old with some physical limitations. There may be jobs that aren't corporate love, but you also got to understand that very often they still discriminate. And it's not the easiest thing for me to get in the world. Yeah, I got a great personality and a great work ethic and all of that. And the moment they look at my age and or my skin color, very often, even though I done sat through the interview and everybody loved me and kiki and laughing and we'll call you back and all of that, they're going to hire the 20 something year old. That's what I'm having to deal with. So rather than me sit around and stress about the fact that I'm a bit long in the tooth to be competing in the job market with 20 somethings that still want those jobs too, if I get one of them, it's cool. If I don't, I may have to pave my own way. So walking up into there not knowing my situation at all and preaching to me about how I need a job, You need a job, and I don't even know you well enough to say that. I didn't ask you for any money. I'm not sitting here complaining about not having money or needing a job. Why? What would press you to even talk to somebody like that? Orbs are not necessarily anything bad, honey. Orbs are very often a sign of positive spiritual presence around you, Jamie Ray. Um, Robin Williams, if you know how to cleanse it, you can. Truthfully, most of the time, I don't really do that much with them. Maybe run a little, like say, smudge a little Palo Santo or sage over it. And I'll like if you got some spiritual oils or whatever, put a few drops of oil in it when you get ready to light it. Dress it a little bit and set the intention for it. It is hard to find work. Like I said, I'm not. Yeah, we're just gonna ignore him if that, because again, when he first came in here, he tried to act like what he was. He said something that he said I took the wrong way, so I apologized and went on back about my business. But he didn't pop back in here talking trash, so I just let him go. I mean, and now honestly, environment. That's the only thing. Like I said, I got bills pressing. I know I need to do certain things, but when I weigh the stress of even doing that whole job hunting thing and living with the day-to-day rejection, getting and going through these constant, yeah, I'm gonna have to do something. I'll throw some stuff at the wall and just see if something sticks. But I also understand that's why I'm becoming more consistent about showing up and doing the live stream, trying to make a schedule to do the uploading, because even though like Google, like I said, Google AdSense isn't going to pay me unless or until something I upload, and it won't be a live stream, but it would have to truly go viral, like spiral off into the millions in order for me, millions of views in order for me to make money from Google AdSense. But I don't need that level of virality. Hopefully it'll come one day, but that's not what's going to feed me. Actually providing services, like I said, coaching and counseling and tarot services and those sorts of things can provide me a nice little income. No, I'm not going to get rich, but that's not the point. The point is for me to be able to feed myself. So yeah, I'm not worried about it. I would rather do that and work my way towards being able to manifest the things that we were talking about in this first part of the conversation than to be enmeshed in a job that I hate, that tamps my spirit down so bad that it's hard for me to maintain my spirituality, and then I wind up leaving this off. If something's got to go, I'd rather it be that on that other end, because this is my life. This is the key to be manifesting those things that we talked about, and ultimately, that's what the work is. I look at this as the vacation or the respite before the big game. I've been working my whole life. So if I went into a hermit mode and some downtime, even for several years to get my head together, now I've worked in and out. Like I said, I worked for in between there. But now it's like gearing up to genuinely, again, I ask spirit to manifest from nothing. Unfortunately, there's no take backsies on that. That is what I asked for. I wanted to learn to manifest from nothing, and it looks like it's going to happen. But in order for me to manifest from nothing, spirit keep taking me back to the nothing part. And if I keep jumping out there on my own steam, tilting against windmills to go try to find just any kind of just over broke just to say I got one, I'm genuinely operating against what I've asked spirit for. They're not going to tell you that, but when you sit there and try to, when you, like I say, when you out there trying to apply for a job, you'll find out real quick when it's messed up, real quick. Because again, every Monday they got fresh new jobs out there, or Sunday, or whenever, any day you look, go on Indeed. And half of now the scammers to start uh, infiltrating Indeed and places like that as well. So you don't even know if it's a real job offer you're even applying to, or if you're setting yourself up to be hacked. So all you can do is keep applying. If something happens, cool. If it don't let yourself get stressed. Have faith and just keep doing what you can do. This may be the long way around, but if I sit on my butt and don't do nothing, I can get off here and whine and complain and wallow. This don't pay me, so I'm not going to do it. And then guess what? I'll never get to the point that it could pay me. I'll never engage with an audience and be able to get enough personal readings and coaching services and things like that to support me, because I'd be sitting offline somewhere stressed, worried, and complaining about the fact that I can't find a job. Meanwhile, I done walked off my spiritual job. This is just the apprentice program. You got to put skin in this game on the front end to let it pay you on the back end when you're working for spirit. The job will pay you on the front end, but if they ain't hiring, guess who is? My spirit team is hiring. I just have to get in here and do the work. And Antoine, say it again and say it louder for the people in the back. The chosen ones do struggle to keep jobs, not because they lack skill, but because their light unintentionally outshines. It's not ego, it's energy. And spirit moves differently through us. And we have a hard time playing the game. When I said corporate America, you talking about all jobs ain't in corporate. I mean that vehicle, period. Because I don't care what job it is, unless it's your company. If you get on a job that's got more than 5 people in that office, it's going to be some bullshit up in there. It's going to be some shit that really works your nerves and your spirit. You're going to see dishonesty, deceit, a bunch of whoremongering, all kinds of stuff that really just wears at your spirit, because your sense of fair play don't operate like that no more. And you're going to do it for a while because you feel like you need a job, but eventually you're going to get to where your stomach is in knots every day before you get ready to go in there. You ain't going to be able to take it but just so long. And eventually you're going to have to walk off and go find something else to do. I've tolerated them for a lot longer than I wanted to. And again, I show up and do a good job. When I went back to that job in Sarasota, I was on that job for 3.5 years. I hated that job every day of it. I hated the job. Love the people. Now, don't get it twisted. Best people I ever worked for. I love, 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 love the hell out of the people that I worked for in that office. But the actual nature of what I was doing every day, I despised that job. But I did a good job at it. And they did such a good job at it that when I left there, they threw me a party. And a year later, when I wanted to come back, I got my job back over a text message in 10 minutes on the phone. They said, let me know when you can be back. We'll make room on the team for you. And then the world shut down due to the pandemic. But I always hated the job. I was in there, it's customer service, but it was like front end sales for, it wasn't what I wanted to do. Again, I was good at it and I did it. Made my money, made them their money and the whole nine, but it was not nothing. I was not working from my want to. I've been working from my have to all my life, because I had my first child at 23 and her daddy was a deadbeat. Then I got with my twins' father. Well, actually, I wound up pregnant on the pill. Had left him and realized this ain't gonna work. He got some habits that I can't deal with. But then I found out that I had gotten pregnant, and I don't do abortion. That's not me. So I wound up a single parent again. And then I got with the gambler. Like I said, it's crazy. They all had some kind of weird addictions and stuff. And some of it I didn't know about. Most of it I didn't find out about till years later. They hid that stuff, but it impacted my life. But that's what I say. That's how I came to have 3 baby daddies. But at the end of the day, I've been working my butt off, but I've been working from my have to. I've never been able to work up to my intellectual capacity, or even what I'm able to do from a technical standpoint. But I was working, you know. And I'm just at a point now, I don't really want to do that no more. Oh, I don't know. We don't need to fast forward to no age of Leo. Good Lord. Because after, wait a minute, we went Pisces, Aquarius. How you going to fast forward to the age of Leo? Because if we're going to the age of Aquarius, after that'll be the age of Capricorn. Look, the Earth may not stand long enough for us to get back to the age of Leo. That's gonna take us another 10,000 years, 12,000, something like that, to make it all the way back to Leo. Honestly, Stephen, and I think that's what Spirit is trying to show me. Like I said, one of the lessons that I got when the tower first fell years ago was that God is my supply. I genuinely survived almost a year. It was like 11 months with zero income as far as a job would go. So I'm a Cancer too, bro. 100. My birthday is July 8th. When's yours? But yeah, I just really am at the point where I think being true to myself is more of what I'm being called to do. It is hard being patient. That is a very fine line to walk when you broke, like for real. Oh, yours is July 7th, Robin Williams. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, you a Cancer too, Niana? Lord. Now I know if I may not do all signs, but for sure I'm gonna have to start doing some Cancer readings. And somebody had said that I should do the different signs reading. So I might have to do that. August 2nd. Hey, Layla Camacho. Awesome, awesome. Bro 100 said his birthday is secret. He can't tell us. If he tell us, he got to take us out. Environment, mine is one of mine is too. My birthday is like the 8th, and his is the 13th of July. But he a crazy kid. That was the one, the gambler. Yeah. I've never done a pick a card reading. I might try to set that up. Yours is Lord have mercy. We got July 9th, June 7th. All of these little babies right up in here in the middle. July 7th for Robin, July 9th for Niana, July 8th for me. All right, bro. Is yours the 6th or the 10th, bro? 100? Oh, June 24th. That'll work too, though. Yeah. I'm seriously gonna consider that. I don't have stuff to mark. Well, I don't even have to mark the piles. That's just stuff people like to do. But yeah, I might actually start doing a few. That would be a way to segue in there, and maybe if I did them right, even if I just did one sign reading per month, like or do a pick a card and maybe then water signs, air signs, earth signs like that, or do I don't know, maybe like a pick a card reading and all signs reading. Well, I'm gonna sit down and actually give some thought to that because it would be cool. Again, I'm gonna do the live streams at least 3 days a week on there. Um, but in the meantime, in between, I would like to have some readings to upload. So I may actually like create a schedule to do. Yeah, I'll give it some thought, and then I'll try. I'm gonna double check with y'all before, because again, hey, I'm here for y'all. You giving me good ideas and feedback. I want what y'all are gonna be happy with too. So I'll run it by you before I decide for sure. I will. Honestly, I'm thinking about, like I said, the next. I did it today. This is Tuesday. When's tomorrow? Because the way I messed up and didn't go on Monday. That's why I came on today, but I will still go. I'll be back on tomorrow for mini readings, and then on Friday for a mini reading. After that, at some point, I may start doing the readings. I may even go in for an early morning session and doing like mini readings for like $11 or something. I don't know. I'm not sure how that's gonna work, but we'll figure it out. Mm-mm-mm. I do know one thing. The other day when I found out YouTube gets 30% of super chats and super thanks, I'm seriously thinking. You say you 23% up on the Japanese yen this week for a future community. Oh, you trade? That's awesome. I didn't know it was. I don't trade. I need to. If I get my hands on some money, I do want to learn how to trade. But yeah, I don't even know if I want to apply to get monetized like that. You're Wednesday born. I am Monday born. I had to think about it. Yeah, my name is Adjoa. My dude is Friday born. His brother is Monday born. He's Kojo. But my dude is Kofi. He's Friday born. Hey, Sai CC, how are you, dear? Awesome. We're gonna be all right. We surely are. All that good energy we flowed at the beginning of this session and all that stuff, like I said, it's coming. Look, it's coming. They don't know and they don't need to know. For real, they don't need to know till it happens. And then we just gonna bust out there like, yeah. And Lil's goons will not succeed. They're going right, bro. 100. I'm doing good, Sai CC. How are you doing, dear? I will keep that in mind because I don't know. I just never learned how to do it, but I will definitely keep that in mind, man. Well, I definitely hope that your trades explode and you do everything that you need to do with them, my dear. I really do. You feeling sad, Antoine? I'm sorry. I hope you get to feeling better, dear. You kind of in a funk a little bit too. Oh Lord. Yeah, you're gonna get better. I just yeah. That part. Hey, I ain't far behind you. I'm coming up on month 9 right now. Oh, you welcome, environment. Mm-mm-mm. I'm sorry. I gotta. Sorry about that. This lip gloss be doing weird crap. Well, don't you let. I was like, they were telling me by not letting that other dude his energy get to us. Don't you let it get you down. Something's gonna jump off soon here. I'm trying to tell you. I claim it, Brittany. Ashe. Yes, indeed. So mote it be. And so it is, sister. So it is. Yeah. And I really do feel, like I said, it's been kind of a test for sure for a lot of us. And somehow, but some kind of way, doesn't something always come through? Even if it's the 11th hour, it may not be that pressed down, overflowing thing that you was hoping, but some kind of way we eke through. But it's going to eventually come to where we're not eking through anymore. I honestly believe that because too many of us are seeing that, and we just sat here and put this collective energy towards it. We truthfully got a tentative game plan for how we can come together and make this thing happen, working in unity. Ain't nobody at each other's backs, jealous and trying to figure out who got a little bit more. No, 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 no. We literally saw building a community, moving forward as a united team in lockstep to do something as one mind, one voice, basically, even though it's individual components, but it would all come together like spiritual monkey bread. Delicious. It's going to happen because it resonates with too many people not to be a real thing, you know? That's just the way I see it. Whether it start little or start big, exactly. You could see it clearly. Several of us were able to see it, weigh in on it, put a little tweak here, a little bit there, understand the fact that it's not a greed project. Yeah, it do need to generate money and it's going to make a hell of a lot of money, but it's not about the money. It's about genuinely being our brother's keeper and helping ourselves while helping each other so that it's a win-win all the way around. And then take that, copy and paste, and multiply it somewhere else. Take that, copy and paste, and put it somewhere else. And just continue to do that until we just a force of nature. They can call it a social experiment. They can call it whatever they want. But they're going to want to call it something, trust me. And they're going to want to put a camera in front of us and figure out how the hell we did it. Because at the end of the day, we're operating from an idea that the ascended masters gave us. Because again, like I said, I like to think I'm smart, but the way that idea morphed over time, I know it was spirit that was helping me tweak it into what I currently saw and described, because it started someplace completely different. And it was more of, because out from the conventional standpoint, I was thinking about what I could build and what I could do. And then I knew that was going to be hard and difficult and it would take this long and probably this many years. And of course, I'd have the assistance of my boyfriend and his family, but that's still just us and the blah, 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 blah. And it was going to take a whole lot more startup capital and all sorts of things. And then it just got exactly a divine movement. Exactly. And it took about 3 years for spirit to fully like redirect my thinking and give me the details and streamline. It was quite literally streamlining the ideas down until in theory I saw where it could start with a lot less than what I was initially looking at starting with, but truthfully, I still believe it's going to start off with a lot more so that it can expand exponentially. But the idea was to keep initial overheads as low as possible. It was, like I said, I know for a fact, spirit. That's all. It was at least 90% spirit. Oh, good night, Layla. I'm glad that you were able to subscribe, and I definitely thank you for joining us. And have a beautiful rest of your evening. And hopefully, you'll be able to join us again on Thursday night. Talk to you later, my love. Sleep well. Namaste. Yep. Oh, never that, Antoine. No, you and them lions. Are you a Leo? Because you talking about you want to be in the age of Leo. Like I said, that Leo did me dirty, so I don't have nothing against Leos, though. Like I said, that was just one. I can't give up. I mean, my kids are all grown now, but you Leo cusp Virgo. Oh, see, there we go. When is your birthday again? I'm so sorry. Was it like the 22nd, 3rd, 4th, somewhere in there? Happy belated though, whichever it was. 21. Okay. Cool, cool. Yeah, the Warlock's birthday is the 23rd, so that's why I was just wondering because he's a Leo Virgo on the other side of the cusp, but that's cool. You on the Leo side, so yeah, he's a Virgo cusp Leo. Probably Psi CC. I can't remember where the way they changed from. I can barely get because again, astrology was never my thing, so I just like I said, I know my birthday and my kids' birthdays, but I wasn't really following it for a long time. But when they added in a fucus or whatever that is, yeah, it shifted everything. Your daughter was 829. Oh, happy belated to her too. Then happy belated to Antoine. And happy upcoming to Cece. Awesome. It's a whole lot of folks got birthdays kind of clustered up together here. But then again, that makes sense because when it's cold in the winter months, that's what folks do, and then we be born in the summer months. That's one of the things I love so much about Soulful Revolution's channel. I mean, she's an amazing tarot reader as well. But she stays up on the astrology and makes it understandable, kind of keep you about apprised of what you need to know astrologically. I love her little formulas too. I mean, because she's gotten readings. She's been doing that for a long time, though. But her readings are down to like about a 20-minute or so formula. That's what I'm trying to do. If I can, her name is MJ or Mary Jo from Soulful Revolution. SOULFUL Soulful Revolution. She her channel is big. She got like 400 and something thousand subscribers at this point, but she used to be a producer for on the Good Morning America show years ago. And her readings post at 7 a.m. Eastern time every day, except I think on the weekends they come out like 8 or 9 in the morning. But I call her, she's literally like the Good Morning America of the tarot world, but she's a very good reader as well as being in on the astrology and stuff. She even have like astrology courses and stuff. Her courses are a little pricey, but I'm not saying they're not worth it. But she make her money on this channel. Like I said, people don't understand. Google AdSense is not the only thing that pay people on YouTube. Yep, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Nope, Antoine, we're gonna bring in some other stuff. You know what? And I think I was subscribed to White Feather, Brittany. But I did for whatever reason my notifications were off, which happens a lot on YouTube. But I turned them back on. Like I said, I used to start my day. I haven't been watching any of them regularly lately, but I would usually start my day with Soulful Revolution at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Excuse me. Chiron would drop, and I would look at his titles. If something really jumped out at me that I needed to, I would. Most of the time, his messages would come through to me on the weekends. I used to call it Tarot Church on Sunday. But again, he reads karmic energies, but in a funny way. But when I was going through a lot of that stuff, he had mega messages for me. Lightworks Intuitive was really good, but again, she's kind of some of her folks. She's still reading for some fairly karmic stuff, and then the Happy Cancer, Destiny over there, and but again, now that I'm doing my own thing, I just don't have as much time to watch other people's readings as much. But yeah, there's some amazing. I've been led to some pretty amazing tarot readers on this uh, app. for some of the higher level initiate readings too. I like Witch Inside, if anybody is curious. She's really good. I used to like Cleo Ra, but something happened and she came back and regrouped, and I haven't paid attention. She took like a long hiatus, and my spirit team ain't really led me back to her. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with her, but she used to read those types of energies. Yeah. Oh, it done kind of quieted down, y'all. Meditative dance. Ooh, that sounds cool. Would you ever consider like recording that or live streaming that, or do you do that on your platform? I mean, I know that ain't something that people would typically watch, but it might be kind of cool to teach or watch or have people get into. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, I'm not gonna be in here much longer either, Robin Williams. So good night to you, my love. I think in about 10 minutes here, I'm gonna shut it down because that is pretty much the witching hour. It's been super quiet in here tonight, except that one that we had come in, but it's the conversation is slowed down, and I do want to get to bed so that I can be up for 11 a.m. Tarot. I'm gonna try to make it in by 10. If I can get on out of here by 11, I might make it up and upright and at the tarot table by 10 a.m. tomorrow, but for sure by 11. You've been trying to do that, girl. Look here, you better do that. And when you get that set up, you make sure you come in here and let us know so we can all go over there and subscribe and get you and support that. You hear me? I um I look at so I have a couple of distance Reiki channels that I like sometimes for relaxation and different meditation practices and all kinds of stuff on YouTube. And that's why I said it seemed like it would be something interesting to me. The way my knees and inflammation is set up, I don't do much movement at all right now, but I do over this next 30 days. I'm gonna start back in easy. I got a couple of yoga balls here, and I used to like when my knees were really messing with me and I didn't couldn't be on them to dance. I would dance on the yoga ball, and that's a slower route around it, but it did help me break a sweat and help me. But when I listen to meditation tracks and stuff, it does help to get in that flow. And so I can kind of feel where that would come from. That would definitely be something that I would be interested in checking out for sure. But yeah, put it out there. Again, I told you some of the crazy. Well, you wasn't in here, I think, yesterday, but some of the stuff that I've seen in these live streams, put it out there. Trust me, there's an audience for it. There's a lady here that's got like 40 something thousand subscribers that all she do is sit in the live stream and eat arrowroot powder or cornstarch off of a bar of soap, for goodness sake. Her name is Starchiana. 40,000 subscribers to watch her lick soap. You said your daughter wants a tarot reading. Would I read for her if she joins tomorrow? She's 16. Will you be able to come in when you don't have to stay if you're not able to, but will you be able to log in long enough to let me know that it's her and that it's okay for me to do so? Because I don't mind as long as you cool with it. Like so you're asking me now, so I don't have a problem. I just want to make sure that I get the proper instruction. Or she actually, you already told me that she's there. Oh, you gonna be there anyway? I'm about to say because she could just tell me I'm Brittany's daughter, and yeah, I'll read for her. I surely will. Yes, ICC. When I'm telling you, there is an area of YouTube. Once you go into, you start like doom scrolling in the short reels. If you come across a live reading, tap into where it says watch live, even if it ain't something you particularly want to watch. Tap into that live reading and then start to scroll. And when you do, it's going to start bringing you to live reading after live reading after live reading. And you'll see some crazy ish on YouTube. Bro, child, I'm trying to tell you. Yeah. Yeah, a bar of Irish Spring soap. She's got Pico, I guess, isn't that Pico that causes people to eat weird stuff? But yeah, she sit there. She got a clear Tupperware container. It used to be cornstarch, and I think she just switched over to arrowroot now. And it had 2 or 3 different bars of soap in it. Sometimes it's Irish Spring. I don't know what the other ones are, but she will literally drag the soap through there and like touch her tongue to it and eat it. She likes that combination of arrowroot powder and the taste of the soap, and that's what she do for an hour, 2 hour, whatever. And people pay her for that. Like I said, I just saw Hefty Boy. He at one point he was 1,000 pounds. I think he's down to about 600 or 700 pounds now. But he sits up without a shirt on, like doing arm pull downs off of his little stationary exercise thing and talking to people on the live stream shirtless. I've seen flat booty pancake chicks, like literally, like, and I ain't trying to be, again, I'm not body shaming nobody, but women of a certain age need to understand that even though you're willing to do certain things to call attention to yourselves, after a while more people are laughing at you than with you, and they on that thinking they still got it thing, and they be up there with their little wrinkled boobs and their flat booties twerking. I'm not even joking or exaggerating. I've seen that in the live stream, twerking. Wasn't cute. I ain't stay long, but I seen it. I seen it. Good God, I seen it. What do I think of Chiron Antoine? I love him. I love him. Now I don't watch his most. I don't know. I haven't watched many of his live streams in the evenings. Hey, Lunar Beats, yay yay. What's up? No, Chiron helped me get through. I'm talking about Chiron intuition, right, Antoine? I'm doing good, Lunar. How are you? Um, oh, you in Montana? Sounds cool. Awesome. Yeah, you. Yeah, I do like Chiron. I listen to him on a regular. In fact, was it yesterday? Now, again, he reads in karmic energy too, but it'd be funny. But I mean, when I don't have a lot of time, I don't listen to all of his readings anymore. I look at the titles and what kind of intuitively jumps at me that I need. Then I'll take them. Yesterday, the first 2 readings he uploaded for the day were definitely for me. Today, I think I listened to all of them today because they really resonated a lot too. But he helped me work my way through. He was reading all up in my energy for the last couple of years with that crazy ass Leo and the situation with the Leo and then the 2 crazy cancers. But primarily that Leo was the energy vampire that was doing the spell work and all the rest of that for the purpose of keeping me away from the twin and all that. Yeah, he was reading up in my stuff like he was sitting up in my head with his legs crossed with a steno pad, just taking notes. He's good. He's really good. And he's funny. I'm glad he finally started showing his face though. I didn't on my short live on the other channel. I haven't been on there. I've logged in here a little bit before 8 o'clock, I think. No, actually, I was on recording um, another segment of the Book of Enoch. So I've literally been kind of out of pocket since like 6 something. So I haven't. I'll go and check on it though when I get off of here. Excuse me. How will you know who exactly does what if you don't know their signs? Honestly, I mean, a lot of times I just happen to know there's all of the signs of the people involved and the cards involved because they were close people that were to me, and there was a lot of X's and karmic X energy and my counterpart and all of that. And again, I was in that weird friend zone. So all of those people I had personally read for as a reader as well. So I had looked at their birth charts. I know, well, I didn't bother to know their rising and moon signs and stuff, but my counterpart, I know his rising and moon sign and his sun sign and the different ones. So I was aware of that. But even if you don't know their signs, Chiron puts a tarot story together like nobody's business. He will paint the picture. I don't even know how he be putting together the stories that he be putting together, but he be on them. Again, each reader operates with and expresses their gift differently. But when I tell you that brother is good, he good. He is super good. And he funny. And he easy on the eyes too. He used to not show his face. He recently started showing his face. He's very handsome. Yeah, I think you'll like him. Yeah, and another, like I said, Lightworks Intuitive Healing resonates with me a lot too. But again, the way I deal with any readers or readings now is I go to their page and kind of scan down the page and look at their titles. And if it nudges me to check it out, then I will. If it don't really speak to me, I'm not saying I won't ever come back to them, because just because they don't have nothing for you today don't mean they won't tomorrow. But I only kind of look at the readings that kind of really grab my eye at this point. Yeah, y'all, I'm getting ready to call it a day for the night. You said you was casting away all the trolls. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't see. You know what, Lunar? What happened earlier? I was trying to figure out. I had spent a while today in studio. I was trying to figure out how to make the subscriber only mode. And I think I accidentally opened a live stream when I didn't intend to. And I closed it back out. I forgot to go and delete that. I wasn't even aware that it had actually been on long enough to show one. But yeah, I'll get rid of it. You say you want to listen to Chiron, you think he could read, but you're afraid of demons? You're scared? If you're afraid of him, if you don't like his energy, he does work with his dolls and energy and stuff. Um, if his energy ain't speaking to you right, don't listen to him. But I've been watching him for a couple years now, and I've never had no problems with him. But he got his little dolls and stuff, and he's probably very linked in with like Ancestral energy. I know he is because he got one of his is Papa Wise is like his main doll, and he shows up on the live stream with. But in the daytime, he has them around, but he don't really be interacting with the dolls. I just try not to let that bother me, because again, I was watching him for 2 years before I ever saw him show his face. I mean, the icon on his channel had like a pharaoh's head on one half and his face on the other, so I kind of sort of understood what he looked like, but he never showed his face or his surroundings. He only showed his tarot table for 2 years. And then a few months ago, he decided to start showing his face on the screen. So then you could see his dolls and his tarot set up around him. But I don't know. Go with what you feel. Oh, you sense entities. Well, then honestly, if you're that sensitive to it and it bothers you, don't watch him. It's thousands of tarot readers here. He is a good reader, and I don't sense anything there, but I'm not you. If you can sense the entities in those dolls, he sensed the entities in them too. And he like them. It doesn't bother him. But if it bothers you, that's not your reader. It's not for you, dear. Don't mess with that. Oh, you're so welcome, Environment. Like I said, we will take it up here again on Thursday. I'm gonna try to have something. Well, we again, I didn't really have nothing prepared for us to talk about today, but today was a cool conversation. But I'm gonna get some other stuff kind of uploaded to the channel. Actually, I got to get into the playlist. I downloaded a bunch of audiobooks yesterday. Some stuff that people have suggested I look into and all the rest of that. We are going to get back into the 12th planet, but I may create another side list that as I start working on an audio series, I may go ahead and put that list, that playlist, make it public so that even though I'm not necessarily uploading videos about it, it's just stuff that I'm listening to in my downtime, going to sleep with, whatever, trying to listen to that stuff and just let y'all know so that if you're interested in having that content as well, that you can. I bump into all kinds of really cool content on YouTube. And like I said, I am not gatekeeping. So it's not my content, but it'd still be some really good stuff. So yeah, we're going to do that. Yes, ma'am, Miss Brittany. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you, Niana. Thank you, Antoine. Thank you, everyone that's been here. Lunar, CC, all of you, Environment, everyone that is still here in the live stream with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Sarah Johnson. I am going to scoot on out of here now just because, like I said, I'm going to be on tomorrow on Anunnaki Oracle Priestess. I'm going to shoot for 10 o'clock, but considering it's 11 o'clock right now, if I'm not there at 10, look for me no later than 11. I will make it my business to go on and get to bed early so I can get up and get camera ready by 10 a.m. and we can pull some tarot there. And then I will be working on some content for here as well. And like I said, part 6, I think it's part 6 of the Book of Enoch is up on the channel now. So definitely check that out. And in the meantime, in between time, you know I love y'all. Peace and blessings to you. Namaste.